Chapter 4489. After completing the first step, Lu Ming began the second step, which was to comprehend his own secret technique. This step was also the most difficult, because Lu Ming still had no clue. Lu Ming closed his eyes. Under the creation divine formation, his mind was clear and his comprehension was greatly improved. In his mind, all kinds of ordinary secret techniques and ancient secret techniques flashed continuously. Originally, Lu Ming had almost cultivated all of these secret techniques to greater mastery. But now, he suddenly had a new understanding of these secret techniques. Although there are many changes, there are still similarities. As long as I can comprehend the core and use it as a reference, it won't be difficult to comprehend my own secret technique, Lu Ming pondered. After reviewing all the secret techniques, there was only one secret technique left in his mind. Previously, he had only briefly reviewed them. Now, he was going to carefully comprehend each of the secret techniques. Bas. At this moment, the primordial celestial stone in his sea of consciousness vibrated, and a mysterious aura spread out. On the primordial celestial stone, there were fine lines of runes. These runes seemed to be alive as they constantly swam and intertwined to form different patterns. Then, they scattered and intertwined to form new patterns. There were endless changes, and it was mysterious and unpredictable. Looking at these patterns was also beneficial to Lu Ming's comprehension of the secret technique. With the support of the primordial celestial stone, Lu Ming's comprehension of the secret technique became faster. When comprehending a single secret technique, he would gain new insights almost every moment. Lu Ming spent a day comprehending this secret technique, and then changed to another secret technique. In a day's time, Lu Ming's comprehension of this secret technique had increased by a large margin. Compared to before, it was much stronger, and its power was also much stronger than before. It was a step further. With the support of the creation divine formation, 3 years in the outside world was equivalent to 300 years in here. Therefore, Lu Ming had the time to comprehend all kinds of secret techniques. Fei Huang said that at the end of cultivation, one had to forget all the secret techniques that one had comprehended in the past. Only the secret techniques that one had comprehended were left in one's heart. However, Lu Ming was still very far from that level. They needed to reach reciprocity at the very least to touch upon that realm. At this stage, Lu Ming did not need to do that at all. At this stage, Lu Ming did not want to forget. Instead, he wanted to deepen his comprehension. After comprehending it to the extreme, then forget it. Lu Ming only spent 1 day on each secret technique. Of course, Lu Ming would spend more time on the primordial secret skills. However, there were only over 1,800 types of primordial secret skills. Even if he spent more time on them, it would not take too long. Just like that, time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed. Of course, these 10 years referred to the 10 years in the creation divine formation and not the 10 years in the outside world. That is, suddenly, Lu Ming felt that there was a powerful force not far away. This force was too familiar. It was Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and looked in that direction. Shao Qing is about to break through. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Obviously, Xian Yanqing was about to break through to the Divine Master Realm. Anya Rose is also about to break through. Lu Ming's eyes moved and looked in the other direction. Anya Rose was also emitting a powerful aura. Obviously, she was also about to break through to the Divine Master Realm. Xian Yanqing and Anya Rose were already very close to the Divine Master Realm. In the highest immortal city, they were almost able to break through. They had been suppressing their cultivation and did not break through. After this period of cultivation, their breakthroughs were completely achieved when the conditions were right. Their auras were getting stronger and stronger, alarming the others. Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Di Jenny, Yin Jioling, Ling Heng and the others woke up and looked at the two of them. After a while, their auras reached the peak. With a loud boom, the two of them had entered the Divine Master Realm. Huff huff huff. In the starry sky, the stars shone brightly. Rays of gentle starlight gathered towards the two of them and were absorbed into their bodies. This starlight was actually the treasures in the creation divine formation. It contained a huge amount of energy and was extremely pure. It was constantly being converted into the two of them's power. These two. At this moment, the master of the heavenly court was also carefully sizing up Xian Yanqing and Anya Rose. The more he looked, the more shocked he was. This seems to be the power of reincarnation. Could the two of them be reincarnated? Who are they? Are they people from the previous era? No, judging from their expressions, they should have appeared later than me. Could it be that the younger generation has already mastered reincarnation? The master of the heavenly court could not calm himself down and let his imagination run wild. Slowly, Xian Yanqing and Anya Rose's auras stabilized and concealed themselves. Of course, they had just broken through to the Divine Master Realm and needed some time to consolidate. The others also began to cultivate, trying to break through to the Divine Master Realm as soon as possible. Lu Ming also began to cultivate again. He began to comprehend one secret technique after another. In the blink of an eye, 200 years had passed. In these 200 years, Lu Ming had comprehended tens of thousands of secret techniques. He had a completely new understanding of each secret technique. My secret techniques, Lu Ming muttered. In his mind, secret technique after secret technique flashed. The advantages and disadvantages of each secret technique appeared in his mind. Intertwine, converge, evolve. Lu Ming muttered to himself. His hands involuntarily danced. His 10 fingers streaked across the void like lightning, drawing out patterns. These runes intertwined with each other to form a secret technique. However, this secret technique soon collapsed and disappeared. No, it's still an ancient secret technique. Lu Ming muttered and continued to evolve. The secret technique that his hands had just formed was still an ancient secret technique. It was not a secret technique that he had comprehended himself. At most, he had only changed it a little and mixed in some other secret techniques. But it was far from being a secret technique that belonged to him. Continue. Lu Ming seemed to be crazy as he immersed himself in comprehending the secret technique. Time passed day by day. During this period, Wan Shen had broken through to the Divine Master Realm. Qiu Yu had also broken through to the Divine Master Realm. Even Qiu had become a 9th-level Divine God after refining the incomplete Origin Divine Weapon. In addition, Di Jenny, Yin Jiuling and Ling Hang had also broken through to the Divine Master Realm. However, Lu Ming was still focused on cultivating. Lu Ming's hands did not stop at all. He was constantly practicing the secret technique. A secret technique was formed and then collapsed. Soon, another few dozen years had passed. The secret technique that Lu Ming had evolved had a great change. In the beginning, the secret technique that he had evolved had the shadow of other ancient secret techniques. But slowly, the shadow faded. It seemed to form a new secret technique. The Apex. Chapter 4490. However, Lu Ming was still not satisfied. The secret skills he created later still had the shadow of other secret skills. They didn't seem to be very powerful, and there was a big gap between them and the heaven-breaking style. Secret skills, my own secret skills, the 3,000 ancient secret skills. There is no need to divide the secret skills into 3,000 types. There are too many of them. How powerful would it be if they could be combined into one secret skill? Not only were there ideas in Lu Ming's mind, but his hands were also dancing like lightning, reflecting the ideas in his mind. Suddenly, Lu Ming's body trembled. Hundreds of cells lit up, and tens of thousands of secret skills appeared around Lu Ming's body. They kept changing according to Lu Ming's thoughts, and finally, they slowly intertwined and merged together. But soon, with a bang, the secret skills collapsed and disappeared without a trace. He failed. However, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He felt that it was very feasible. Continue. Lu Ming continued to activate all the secret skills. Under Lu Ming's control, they continued to intertwine and merge, but soon they still failed. However, Lu Ming didn't give up. He continued. Failure. Lu Ming didn't know how many times he had failed, but each failure gave Lu Ming some experience. The next time, the intertwining of the secret skills would last longer. Failure after failure. The experience after experience. Another 20 years later. At this time, Lu Ming had been cultivating for 260 years. He was almost 300 years away from the Master of the Heavenly Court. At this time, the Master of the Heavenly Court was getting weaker and weaker. Its eyes were dim and its breath was weak. Little guy, you have to hurry up. I can't take it anymore. The Master of the Heavenly Court sighed. At this time, hundreds of heavenly humans were standing in the air outside the ground. Yi Wu stood in the crowd, his eyes full of expectation and ferocity. Soon, this great formation will be completely refined. Han Ming, half of the taboo energy in your body will be mine. I will also suppress the taboo body. Yi Wuxin roared, filled with excitement and anticipation. Inside the Fortune Divine formation, Lu Ming was still comprehending. After failing a few more times in a row. Condense! All of a sudden, Lu Ming let out a loud shout as his hands danced at an astonishing speed. Tens of thousands of secret techniques rapidly intertwined and fused together. In the end, they actually formed a world. This seemed to be a continent. Mountains, rivers, flowers, and trees could be vaguely seen on it. Lu Ming stood on the continent as if he was the ruler of the world. This continent, could it be an imitation of the legendary desolate continent? The life spirit, the lord of the heavenly court, muttered to himself. At first, he was shocked, but then, he was pleasantly surprised. Success. He knew that Lu Ming had succeeded in comprehending a secret skill that belonged to him. Yes, the continent that Lu Ming had condensed was the secret technique that Lu Ming had just comprehended. Genius! What a genius! The secret technique that he has comprehended is even more amazing than I thought. The life spirit exclaimed in his heart. The life spirit of the heavenly courts was right. Lu Ming had indeed comprehended the mystic skill by imitating the primordial continent. In the last epoch, the entire universe, including the universe ruins and the current desolate universe, was actually a continent. It was a vast and boundless continent. Countless living beings multiplied on it and gave birth to countless overlords. This made Lu Ming fascinated. He had imagined the glory of the desolate continent more than once in his mind. Therefore, when he comprehended his secret technique, he had unknowingly deviated in this direction. After using the secret technique that he had comprehended in the end, he had also condensed the desolate continent that he had imagined. Disperse! Lu Ming's heart stirred and the continent under his feet dispersed. Condense! In the next moment, Lu Ming's hands quickly formed seals. In his body, tens of thousands of cells shone like stars. Tens of thousands of secret techniques appeared. Under the guidance of Lu Ming's seals, they intertwined and merged. In the end, another continent was condensed. It was not a fluke. Lu Ming had truly mastered this technique. This secret technique shall be called the desolate style. Lu Ming smiled. The first secret technique was called the heaven-breaking style. It meant to destroy the heavenly palace. This technique was modeled after the desolate continent and was called the desolate style. So far, Lu Ming had created a total of 2 secret techniques that belonged to him. The heaven-breaking style and the desolate style. Alright, Lu Ming, now begin to break through. Break through the bottleneck, connect to the cosmic sea, and enter the almighty realm. The voice of the life spirit rang in Lu Ming's ears. Lu Ming nodded silently. Then, he closed his eyes and let the starlight bathe his body. After a period of time, Lu Ming's state reached its peak. His body suddenly moved, and a dazzling light burst out. Desolate style. Lu Ming shouted softly. The aura on his body soared and kept rising. He rushed toward the peak of the Emperor God realm. Soon, Lu Ming's aura reached its peak. It had reached a limit. It was blocked by something and could not go any further. This was the bottleneck. The bottleneck of the forbidden body was stronger than that of others. It could not be broken unless one comprehended a secret technique. There were gains and losses. The power of the forbidden body was exchanged for a bottleneck that was more difficult to break through. Lu Ming's second secret technique, the desolate style, was displayed again. A vast continent appeared and suddenly pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body shook violently. There was a rumbling sound coming from his body. It was as if something was constantly shaking. Boom! Finally, Lu Ming's body exploded. Then, his aura suddenly soared like a flood breaking through a dam. It was unstoppable. He broke through. Lu Ming finally broke through the bottleneck and let his aura enter a new realm. However, this was not a real breakthrough. He was only half a step into the Divine Master realm. There was still an important step that had not been completed. The other cultivators had to open up the universal bridge next. Lu Ming also had to open up something similar. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Tens of thousands of cells that had been integrated with secret technique runes connected together and formed a door. Rumble! The space in the center of the door kept exploding. A pitch-black vortex appeared. At this moment, the vortex kept roaring and trembling. The light on the door frame on the side became stronger and stronger. Slowly, something began to emerge. It was the universal bridge. No, it was not the universal bridge, but something similar to it. A road. It was actually a road. At first, it was very blurry, but it slowly became clear. It was a yellow mud road. It was withered, ancient, and not big. It was only 2 meters wide. There's blood. The next moment, Lu Ming was shocked. He saw bloodstains on the yellow dirt road. A pool of blood dyed the yellow mud road red. He could not tell that this was definitely not an illusion. There was really a pool of blood on the yellow mud road. The peak. Chapter 4491. He had opened up a path leading to the Universe Sea on the door. It was a yellow muddy road, and there was blood on the yellow muddy road. Lu Ming was taken aback. He had never heard of such a thing before. The nature of the yellow mud road should be the same as the cosmic bridges of others. They were both paths to the cosmic sea and should be formed by energy. However, why would there be blood on a yellow mud road formed by energy? Lu Ming suppressed the shock and doubt in his heart and focused on breaking through. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The starlight in the starry sky kept rushing toward Lu Ming as if it was real. Lu Ming has also broken through. Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Dark Night Rose, and the others stopped cultivating to watch Lu Ming break through. Lu Ming bathed in the rich starlight. The starlight was a vast amount of energy, and it was incomparably pure. It kept pouring into Lu Ming's body and turning into forbidden energy. Lu Ming's strength kept increasing, and so did his forbidden energy. A few days later, Lu Ming's aura stabilized, and his cultivation completely stabilized at the first level of the Divine Master Realm. Lu Ming felt that the forbidden energy in his body was surging. It was much stronger than when he was at the 9th level of the Divine Master Realm. That yellow mud road. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He realized that the yellow mud road had become much clearer, and it led all the way to the depths of the door. It extended into the darkness without end. Suddenly, Lu Ming's figure appeared on the yellow mud road. Of course, this wasn't Lu Ming's real body, but the manifestation of Lu Ming's consciousness. It was formed by Lu Ming's consciousness. This yellow mud road feels so real. Lu Ming's consciousness landed on the yellow mud road, and he carefully observed it. It was too real. The yellow mud road was almost exactly the same as the real one, but it had a special aura that gave people an ancient and lonely feeling. It was as if it had crossed over from an ancient era to time and space. Or perhaps it gave people the illusion that they had returned to ancient times. Lu Ming stepped forward, arriving in front of the pool of blood. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt a piercing pain on his skin, as if he was being cut by a knife. His figure involuntarily retreated. This blood is real. Lu Ming's pupils shrank rapidly. He discovered that this blood was real blood, as if it had just been left behind by a terrifying creature. It contained terrifying killing intent. Just now, he had been forced to retreat by the terrifying killing intent in the blood. This was the yellow mud road that he had condensed. It was the road that led to the cosmic ocean, and he had complete control over it. However, something like this had happened, which made Lu Ming's hair stand on end. He felt that things were out of his control. What the hell was this thing that he had condensed? Whose blood was this? Why would it appear on the condensed path? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Let's ask Han Ming. Maybe he knows. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He dispersed his consciousness and restrained his aura. When he restrained his aura, the door on his body disappeared, and the yellow mud road in the door also disappeared. Lu Ming opened his eyes. Xian Yanqing, Mid-Autumn Moon, and all the gods came over one after another to be happy for Lu Ming. Haha, little guy, you've finally broken through. Not bad, not bad. Your talent is really amazing. However, if you don't break through soon, these old bones of mine won't be able to hold on any longer. The Lord of the Heavenly Court laughed, and his voice was much louder. Obviously, he was also very happy to see Lu Ming break through. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. Lu Ming clasped his fists. I'm just the icing on the cake. The main thing is still up to you. By the way, what's condensed in your door? The Lord of the Heavenly Court asked. He was also very curious about this because he speculated that every forbidden body would condense a different path after breaking through to the Almighty Realm. Senior, it's like this. Lu Ming wanted to ask the Lord of the Heavenly Court, so he immediately explained his situation in detail. What? There are bloodstains? What's going on? After hearing this, the Lord of the Heavenly Court fell into deep thought. This situation was beyond his expectations. If it was just a yellow muddy road, he wouldn't be too surprised. However, there were bloodstains on the yellow muddy road that contained a terrifying killing intent. This shocked him. There's actually such a thing. I've never heard of it, nor have I seen any records of it in the ancient books. The Lord of the Heavenly Court frowned and looked at Lu Ming with both surprise and curiosity. Senior, you don't even know. Lu Ming's heart sank. He didn't know whether it was good or bad. Are there any other forbidden bodies after me that have reached the major success realm? Perhaps you can go and ask them. The Lord of the Heavenly Court said. The major success realm forbidden body he was talking about was a forbidden body that had reached the origin realm. In history, only 4 people had reached it. After I get out, it seems like I'll have to ask Senior Fei Huang. Lu Ming pondered. Bam, bam, bam. At this moment, there was a violent rumble. The starry sky shook and then collapsed. Lu Ming and the others reappeared in the underground space. This was the sign that the Fortune Divine Formation had stopped operating. The bronze statues outside have collapsed a little more. I can hold on for another 2 months at most before I run out of fuel. Fortunately, you've broken through. Lu Ming, let's begin, the Lord of the Heavenly Court said. The Life Spirit, the Lord of the Heavenly Court, said. His aura was weaker than before. Clearly, he was truly on the verge of death. All right. Senior, you can begin at any time. This junior won't resist. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming. Young master. Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon couldn't help but cry out. They were still worried even at this point. Lu Ming, why don't you just refuse? Let's kill our way out and fight to the death. The myriad gods shouted. You don't have to worry. Senior Han Ming is an expert who has dominated the universe for countless years. Why would he care about my insignificant body? Lu Ming shook his head and smiled. Little guy, don't try to goad me into action. However, you're right. I really don't want your body. Let's begin. As soon as the Lord of the Heavenly Court spoke, his body emitted light and his eyes became incomparably bright. However, his eyes soon dimmed. This was because a ball of energy had rushed out of the Lord of the Heavenly Court's body. This was the condensation and manifestation of the Lord of the Heavenly Court's essence, vitality, and spirit. It also carried half of the forbidden power. Naturally, the Lord of the Heavenly Court wouldn't enter Lu Ming's body entirely. His body was covered by the 3rd reincarnation soul fire. The 3rd reincarnation soul fire was extremely terrifying. If it entered Lu Ming's body, Lu Ming would probably be burned alive. The ball of energy was extremely fast. In a flash, it rushed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming didn't resist. He allowed the Lord of the Heavenly Court to do it. As soon as the Lord of the Heavenly Court entered Lu Ming's body, it took control of Lu Ming's body. At the same time, the half of the forbidden power seeped into every cell in Lu Ming's body. Chapter 4492. However, as soon as the taboo energy seeped into Lu Ming's cells, the taboo energy in his cells began to resist. It wanted to expel the taboo energy. However, the life soul was the master of the heavenly courts. After all, his cultivation level was extremely powerful. In the past, his realm was too high. His control of the taboo power was not something that Lu Ming could compare to. He soon found a balance. The 2 taboo energies coexisted peacefully and resonated with each other. It was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. The resonance of the 2 taboo energies had completely stimulated the hidden power of the master of the heavenly court. Moreover, without the interference of the 3 lifetime soul fire, he could unleash even more power. Very good. Now we can go out. Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly. With a wave of his hand, the ground above began to rumble, and a rift opened up in the ground. Above them, the heavenly human tribe powerhouses had been refining the protective array formation non-stop. After this period of refinement, more than half of the bronze statues had already exploded and collapsed. The remaining bronze statues were dull and lifeless, like ordinary pieces of metal. Even the 12 divine weapons were dimmed, and their auras were dispirited. It would not be long before they could completely refine the protective formation of the Master of the Heavenly Court. Then, they would be able to find the Master of the Heavenly Court, Lu Ming, and the others. Killing intent flashed in Yi Wu's eyes. Right at that moment, the ground began to rumble as a crack appeared on the altar. The altar began to split into 2 halves. Yi Wu and the others were stunned. The protective formation had not been completely refined. How could the altar open on its own? Could it be that the master of the heavenly court knew that he could not hold on for much longer and wanted to fight with his life on the line? "Get ready," Yi Wu said as he silently retreated. He was about to face the master of the heavenly court, the master of the heavenly court. It was impossible for him not to be afraid. It was better to let the others deal with him. He's already at the end of his rope. There's no need to be afraid. I can kill him with one blow, said an old heavenly human powerhouse among the 12 powerhouses who had set up the formation. His domineering aura caused the void to tremble and distort. This person was a genuine Lord of Heaven-level figure, incomparably powerful. Hundreds of heavenly humans stared at the altar. Soon, a crack that was several meters wide appeared on the altar, and a figure stepped out from it. "It's him. That brat has a forbidden body." Yi Wu's eyes flashed with killing intent. The person who walked out was naturally Lu Ming. Following closely behind Lu Ming was Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, and Wan Shen. Behind Xian Yanqing and the rest, Dark Night Rose, Di Jenny and the rest followed and stood in a row behind Lu Ming. "So it's you little bastards. That old man Han Ming hasn't come out yet. Could it be that he's already exhausted and can't walk anymore? Is he waiting for death inside?" Yi Wu sneered. When he saw that it was only Lu Ming and the rest, he became bolder. He took a few steps forward and his cold killing intent pressed towards Lu Ming and the rest. However, he was stunned and his face was filled with astonishment. This was because he had discovered that Lu Ming and the rest had made a breakthrough in their cultivation. This shocked him. Less than 3 years ago, Lu Ming and the rest were only rank 9 Emperor God Realm cultivators. Now they had reached the Divine Master Realm. If only 1 or 2 of them had reached the Divine Master Realm, he would not be surprised. After all, Lu Ming and the rest had been rank 9 Emperor God Realm cultivators and were not far away from the Divine Master Realm. In 3 years it was normal for 1 or 2 people to make a breakthrough. However, Lu Ming and the rest had made a breakthrough. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Dark Night Rose, Di Jenny, Yin Jiuling, Ling Heng, and Xiao Wuji. A total of 9 people had made a breakthrough. The other 3 were slightly weaker and had not made a breakthrough yet. However, they were not far away from it. It was not normal for 9 people to make a breakthrough in one go. It seems like Han Ming did something. Han Ming must have paid a price for these people to make a breakthrough. However, does Han Ming think that it would be useful for these people to make a breakthrough? That's too naive. The Lord of Heaven sneered. 9 first-level divine masters were no different from 9 celestial thearchs in his eyes. He could kill them with a single slap. Boom! The Lord of Heaven took a step forward and a violent aura surged out. He was about to attack Lu Ming and the rest. Don't make a move first. You have to guard against Han Ming's counterattack before he dies. Leave these brats to me. Yi Wudao called out to the heavenly monarch. At the same time, he took a step forward and walked towards Lu Ming and the rest. Very well. Lu Ming's eyes, or more accurately, Han Ming's eyes, looked at Yi Wudao with a murderous look on his face. Kneel. Yi Wudao swooped forward like a bird. He channeled half of his forbidden energy and combined it with his ultimate heavenly energy. He threw a punch at Lu Ming. He had used 90% of his strength in this punch. He was confident that even if Lu Ming had reached the Divine Master Realm, he would be severely injured by this punch. At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. Whoosh! His body trembled slightly and disappeared from the spot. In the next moment, he was near Yi Wudao. He reached out his hand and grabbed at Yi Wudao. Lu Ming's hand enlarged rapidly and collided with Yi Wudao's fist energy. With a puff, Yi Wudao's fist energy was extinguished like a weak candle flame. Lu Ming's hand did not stop there. He continued to grab at Yi Wudao. Ah, impossible! Yi Wudao screamed in horror. Yi Wudao screamed in horror. He was in disbelief. His punch, which contained 90% of his strength, was easily broken by Lu Ming. How was this possible? He was shocked. He tried to retreat with all his strength, but he realized that he could not move. He was completely locked in place by Lu Ming's giant hand. No. Who are you? You can't be so powerful. Save me. Save me. Yi Wudao screamed in shock. He did not believe that Lu Ming was so powerful. He was a peerless genius with great combat strength. Even if Lu Ming had the forbidden body, it was impossible for him to be so powerful. Yi Wudao was 2 levels higher than Lu Ming, but he could not resist Lu Ming at all. It was impossible. The Divine Master Realm was not the Divine Emperor Realm or the Divine Emperor Realm. It was easy to overcome the difference of 2 levels. Before the Divine Master Realm, it was difficult to overcome even 1 level, let alone 2. Moreover, he was as weak as a little chick. This was completely impossible. Let go of Yi Wudao. The Lord of Heaven shouted and attacked Lu Ming with his palm. A heavenly monarch's attack was too terrifying. Xian Yanqing, Anya rose, and the others' faces paled when they saw the terrifying palm energy. They felt that they would be killed easily in the face of this attack. Chapter 4493. The Lord of Heaven. Only those who stood at the peak of Divine Master could be called the Lord of Heaven. Every single one of them was extremely powerful. They were basically invincible below reciprocity. They were far too powerful for Lu Ming and the others to contend with. Xian Yanqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shen's expressions changed drastically. They could not help but worry. Could the Lord of the Heavenly Court, who was controlling Lu Ming's body, really contend with a Lord of Heaven? If the Lord of the Heavenly Court was at his peak condition, they would not have any doubts. He could probably crush a Lord of Heaven with a single finger. However, the life soul of the Lord of the Heavenly Courts was already at the end of its life. Even if it controlled Lu Ming's body and made use of Lu Ming's taboo power to fuse their taboo bodies temporarily and unleash powerful potential, could it really contend with a Lord of Heaven? They really had no idea. Whoosh! At this moment, Lu Ming struck out as well. He struck out with his palm, colliding with the Lord of Heaven's palm. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion rang out. After that, the 2 figures involuntarily drifted backwards. The Lord of Heaven retreated, and so did Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming still held on to Yi Wu. He blocked it. Xian Yanqing and the others were overjoyed. Yi Wu and the others from the Heavenly Human clan looked like they had seen a ghost. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Lu Ming had actually blocked an attack from a Lord of Heaven. It was like a fantasy. You're not that kid. Who are you? Shock flashed through the Lord of Heaven's eyes as he stared fixedly at Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming could not be bothered with him. He focused on Yi Wu. A powerful suction force erupted from his palm and enveloped Yi Wu. Ah! Yi Wu let out a miserable shriek. He could feel that half of the forbidden power in his body was about to be sucked out. Yes! The taboo power that had originally fused with all the cells in his body was now constantly surging out of his cells. It gathered together and rushed out of his body towards Lu Ming. "Han Ming, you're Han Ming!" Yi Wu roared in horror. He finally knew who the person in front of him was. It was definitely Han Ming. Only Han Ming could strip the forbidden power from his body so easily. Due to the fact that the 2 of them had grasped half of the taboo energy, they were of the same origin, making it easier for them to separate the taboo energy. If it had been anyone else, regardless of how high their cultivation was, it would have been difficult for them to do so. What? Han Ming! The rest of the Heavenly Human Tribe cultivators were shocked by Yi Wu's cry, and they stared at Lu Ming in horror. Could it be that Lu Ming had already been possessed by the soul? That must be the case. Otherwise, how could Lu Ming have become so terrifying? Stop it, Han Ming! The Lord of Heaven cultivator shouted and charged towards Lu Ming again. This time, he unleashed all of his strength. A halberd appeared in his hand, and he slashed at Lu Ming. The halberd contained a powerful heavenly annihilation power. Its power was terrifying and could destroy the world. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and waved his hand. His fingers moved quickly as he shouted, "Calamity of Chaos!" The next moment, a ray of divine light shot out from Lu Ming's finger and blasted towards the Lord of Heaven cultivator. Boom! The 2 of them collided for the second time. Just like before, both of them were pushed back violently. However, this time, the Lord of Heaven was pushed back less, while Lu Ming was pushed back more. Apparently, Lu Ming was at a disadvantage. Of course, this had to do with the fact that he was concentrating on extracting Yi Wu's taboo energy. At this moment, half of Yi Wu's taboo energy was about to be extracted. "Come out!" Lu Ming shouted and exerted force in his palm. With a whoosh, half of Yi Wu's taboo energy was completely extracted. It rushed into Lu Ming's body and merged with the taboo energy in Han Ming's body. Yi Wu's taboo energy originally belonged to Han Ming. The 2 of them were originally one. Now that they had returned, they merged perfectly. Yi Wu's eyes were filled with fear and despair. Now that Han Ming had extracted his taboo energy, the next step would be to kill him. However, Han Ming did not kill Yi Wu. Instead, he pressed his palm against Yi Wu's body. Yi Wu's body fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string, creating a large crater. Kill! The Heavenly Lord Realm Powerhouse charged toward Lu Ming again. At the same time, the other members of the Heavenly Human Tribe also launched their attacks. Numerous attacks surged toward Lu Ming. You're courting death. Lu Ming spat out coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Boom! A terrifying aura surged out of his body. This aura was many times more powerful than the Lord of Heaven's aura. The attacks from the heavenly humans immediately collapsed when they were hit by this aura. Reciprocity. The Lord of Heaven narrowed his eyes. Without any hesitation, he turned around and fled. It's too late for you to leave now, Han Ming shouted coldly. He slammed his palm into the air. In the next moment, a huge palm appeared above the Lord of Heaven's head and pressed down on him. No matter how the Lord of Heaven tried to block it, it was useless. When the palm pressed down, the Lord of Heaven let out a miserable shriek. His body exploded, and he died on the spot. An expert on the same level as the Lord of Heaven was killed just like that. The other heavenly humans were scared out of their wits. They felt a chill run down their spines. Let's go! In the next moment, some of the faster ones turned around and tried to escape. Kill! Lu Ming's eyes were cold. With a wave of his hand, beams of divine light flew out. 7 or 8 heavenly humans were struck by the divine light. They turned to dust and dissipated in the air. Turned to dust. These heavenly humans were all 4th-layer divine masters or higher. They were also the ones who had set up the array to protect Han Ming. Now, they had all been killed by Han Ming. However, after killing these people, Han Ming did not continue to attack. Lu Ming's body glowed, and a ball of light shot out. It was Han Ming. He brought the strand of forbidden energy with him as he charged down the crack in the altar. In the next moment, a powerful aura erupted from the bottom of the altar. A figure charged out. It was Han Ming himself. After obtaining the complete forbidden energy, Han Ming's strength skyrocketed. The 3 lifetime fire soul on his body seemed to have dimmed. It was suppressed by Han Ming's forbidden energy. Life Soul Origin Stone. Gather. Han Ming shouted as he grabbed the air with his hand. Lu Ming immediately felt the Life Soul Origin Stone fragment in his mind fly out of his control. Ah! Lu Ming, save me! Shi Ling, who was in the Life Soul Origin Stone fragment, screamed. However, Lu Ming could not help him. The Life Soul Origin Stone fragment was completely out of his control. It was not only his. The Life Soul Origin Stone fragments on Anya Rose, Di Jenny, and Xiao Wuji also flew out and flew into Han Ming's hand. At the same time, the Life Soul Origin Stone fragments flew out of Yi Wu's body. Chapter 4494. A total of more than 20 fragments of the Life Spirit Origin Stone flew into Han Ming's palm. In the end, they gathered into a complete crystal. This was a complete Life Spirit Origin Stone. It emitted a dazzling light that captured one's soul. A complete Life Spirit Origin Stone. Wait, no, Ling Yue. Suddenly, Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He thought of Ling Yue. Ling Yue also had a fragment of the Life Spirit Origin Stone in her hands. Now, a complete Life Spirit Origin Stone had appeared. This meant that all the fragments of the Life Spirit Origin Stone had arrived. However, in the Life Spirit Heavenly Court, Lu Ming did not meet Ling Yue. And just now, other than Lu Ming, Dark Knight Rose, and the others, the remaining fragments of the Life Spirit Origin Stone had all flown out from Yi Wu's body. Didn't this mean that Ling Yue's Life Spirit Origin Stone fragment was also on Yi Wu's body? Could it be that Ling Yue had also come to the Life Spirit Heavenly Court, only to encounter a heavenly human race expert and be killed by him, and the fragments of the Life Spirit Origin Stone were taken away? Thinking of this, Lu Ming's heart couldn't help but tremble. He was panicking. He was really panicking. At this moment, the complete Life Spirit Origin Stone flew into the space between Han Ming's eyebrows. Immediately, strands of divine light spread out from Han Ming's body. The moment these divine lights appeared, the 3-world fire soul on the surface of his body became even dimmer. At the same time, his shriveled body became a little fuller, and his original appearance could be vaguely seen. This was a middle-aged man with a tall and sturdy physique. As his eyes opened and closed, they were filled with a domineering aura. My treasure has been buried here with me for countless years. Now, it's time for it to appear. The Life Spirit Heavenly Court's Lord whispered as his palm made a grabbing motion in the air. This time, the direction of his palm was the cracked altar. At this moment, in the underground space, the altar that Han Ming had been sitting cross-legged on exploded with a loud bang. 3 rays of light flew out from it and flew to Han Ming's surroundings, circling around him non-stop. Everyone saw that there were 3 treasures. The first was a ring. The second was a battle sword. The third was a set of armor. Every single one of the treasures exuded an extremely shocking aura. Everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes as their breathing quickened. Could these 3 treasures be the 3 most precious treasures of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court? Legend had it that the Life Soul Heavenly Court had 4 supreme treasures. They were all top treasures in the primitive universe. With the addition of the Life Spirit Vitality Stone, wouldn't there be exactly 4 of them? The Life Spirit, the Lord of the Heavenly Court, waved its hand. The battle sword and armor flew into his body and disappeared. Only the ring remained outside. I'll take the 9 Tribulations sword and 9 Tribulations armor with me. They're of great use to me. Lu Ming, I'll leave the ancient desolation ring to you. It'll be useful to you. Also, I'll leave these divine weapons to you. The voice of the Life Spirit, the Lord of the Heavenly Court, rang out. Before it finished speaking, it had already shot up into the sky, intending to leave this place. Senior, wait! Lu Ming shouted. He had one question that he had yet to ask, and that was about Ling Yue. He wanted to ask the Master of the Life Soul Heavenly Court if Ling Yue was all right, and if she had come with the Life Soul Origin Stone fragment. Lu Ming, hurry up and cultivate. We'll meet again. Han Ming's voice rang out in the sky. Then, his figure completely disappeared. Senior. No matter how Lu Ming called out, Han Ming did not respond. Only the ancient desolation ring was still floating in the air, emitting endless temptation. Many people's eyes fell on the ancient desolation ring. Dark night rose, Di Jenny, Yin Jioling and hundreds of heavenly human tribesmen. Han Ming had only killed 7 or 8 of the strongest heavenly human tribesmen. He did not kill the rest of them. Although these heavenly human tribesmen were almost scared to death and ran away frantically, they did not run far away. They had clearly seen what had happened just now. At this moment, their eyes fell on the ancient desolation ring, revealing intense greed. Han Ming left? Yes, he left the ancient desolation ring. The ancient desolation ring is one of the 4 supreme treasures of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. We must get it. It's mine. Suddenly, hundreds of heavenly human tribesmen rushed towards the ancient desolation ring. They were not the only ones. Dark Night Rose, Di Jenny and the rest were the same. This Han Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming was speechless. It was fine that he did not answer his question. Before he left, he said that he wanted to give him the ancient desolation ring. However, why did he leave the ancient desolation ring in the sky for everyone to see? Was this a test for Lu Ming? Lu Ming could only suppress his worry for Ling Yue and shift his attention to the ancient desolation ring. No matter what, he must obtain a supreme treasure like the ancient desolation ring. Moreover, the ancient desolation ring was originally given to him by Han Ming. Bang! Lu Ming stomped hard on the ground and his body soared into the sky. He pounced toward the chaos ring at an alarming speed. At the same time, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon and Wan Shen also took action. They followed closely behind Lu Ming and rushed towards the ancient desolation ring. They were not here to fight for the ancient desolation ring, but to help Lu Ming obtain the ancient desolation ring. Kill! Scram! Before they even arrived, all sorts of attacks were already flying towards the others. Lu Ming's group also faced a bunch of attacks, most of which came from the heavenly human tribesmen. 3 third-level divine lords. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He discovered that there were 3 third-level divine lords among the heavenly human tribesmen. Third-level divine lords of the heavenly human tribesmen were extremely powerful. Even though Lu Ming's group had already broken through to the divine lord realm, they still had to treat them with caution. Heaven-breaking style. Lu Ming shouted. A spear quickly condensed in his hand, turning into a dazzling ray of light that shot towards one of the third-level divine lords. Bang! The spear light trembled and was shattered. However, The third-level Divine Lord's attack was also blocked. Dark Knight rose, Xian Yanqing and the others used their trump cards to block the attacks of the others. Kill! Lu Ming bellowed. Without stopping, the Bingxian rod appeared and a massive amount of taboo energy surged into the Bingxian rod. The Bingxian rod expanded rapidly and charged toward one of the third-tier Divine Master experts. Boom! The third-level Divine Lord was sent flying like a cannonball, blood spurting from his mouth. One had to admit that third-level Divine Lords were truly powerful. They were much stronger than second-level Divine Lords. Even though Lu Ming had broken through to the Divine Lord realm, he still couldn't instantly kill them. The main reason was that the gap between each level of the Divine Lord realm was too great. For example, if the gap between each level of the Divine Lord realm was 1 point, then the gap between the 9th level of the God Emperor realm and the 1st level of the Divine Lord realm was 1.5 points. Although Lu Ming had broken through from the 9th level of the God Emperor realm to the 1st level of the Divine Lord realm, his ability to fight those above his level did not increase as much after reaching the Divine Lord realm. Of course, compared to the God Emperor realm, his improvement was still significant. This was because the gap between each level of the God Emperor realm was only about 0.2 points. Chapter 4495. When Lu Ming was at the 9th level of the God Emperor realm, he could easily suppress a first-level Godlord with his full strength, but he was no match for a second-level Godlord. Even if he used the mysterious ice staff, he was no match for a second-level Godlord, especially one from the celestial race. All he could do was flee. Thus, now that he had broken through to the first level of the Godlord realm, killing a second-level Godlord wasn't difficult at all. It was even easier than killing a first-level Godlord when he was at the 9th level of the God Emperor realm. Even when facing a third-level Divine Master, Lu Ming could easily suppress the other party. However, it would not be that easy to kill them. Kill! Lu Ming let out a long howl and continued to attack. He was like an invincible god of war. The Bingxian cudgel swept out continuously. He was like an invincible god of war. Bam! 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 Lu Ming struck several celestial race experts in succession. A second-level Godlord screamed as his body was torn apart and he died. 2 other first-level Godlords were also killed, their bodies and souls annihilated. The other celestial race experts felt a chill in their hearts. They didn't dare approach Lu Ming and retreated. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared next to the primordial ring. A devouring power enveloped the primordial ring. It was Dark Knight Rose. Dark Knight Rose suddenly appeared next to the primordial ring, her devouring power erupting as she tried to take the primordial ring. However, a black lotus shot toward her with astonishing power. Dark Knight Rose had no choice but to focus and block it. She sent the black lotus flying, but she also retreated. Dark Knight Rose, Han Ming left this primordial ring for Lu Ming. Do you want to take it? Xian Yanqing coldly said as he took a step forward, pressing toward Dark Knight Rose. This primordial ring doesn't recognize Lu Ming as its master. Anyone who sees it has a share. Dark Knight Rose replied. She transformed into the heaven-devouring rose and exchanged several blows with Xian Yanqing. The two of them were very familiar with each other, so it was naturally not that easy to determine the victor. For a moment, they were in a stalemate. Instead, the other 2 third-stage Divine Master Heavenly Humans charged toward the Chaos Ring. No one could stop them. Wan Shen, Autumn Moon, Emperor Jenny, and the others were all sent flying. Kill! Lu Ming roared as the mysterious ice staff pressed down on the 2 third-layer Divine Master Celestial Race powerhouses with the momentum of Mount Tai. The mysterious ice rod was so huge that it filled the entire sky. It was like a vast mountain range as it crossed the void and blasted toward the 2 third-level Divine Master Heavenly Humans. The 2 third-level Divine Master Heavenly Humans were sent flying. Lu Ming was unstoppable. With a few flashes, he appeared beside the Great Desolate Ring. He reached out and grabbed the Great Desolate Ring. Damn it! When the Heavenly Human tribe saw that Lu Ming had obtained the Chaos Ring, their hearts were filled with envy and jealousy. After the Dark Knight Rose and Xian Yanqing exchanged a blow, they separated. When they looked at Lu Ming, they were very jealous and envious. This was one of the 4 supreme treasures of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. The Master of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court had taken away the other 3 supreme treasures. Only the Chaos Ring remained. Now, the only supreme treasure was in Lu Ming's hands. Bas! Suddenly, powerful ripples came from the ground below as powerful auras spread out. Following this, 10 or so rays of light shot out in all directions. It's the guardian divine weapons of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. After them. I must get one. Everyone was alarmed and chased after those beams of light. These beams of light were the 12 guardian divine weapons. Everyone's attention had been completely drawn to the chaos ring, so they had almost forgotten about the 12 guardian divine weapons. At this moment, the 12 guardian divine weapons began to vibrate on their own, as if they wanted to break through the air. Everyone finally reacted and flew toward the 12 divine weapons. Autumn Moon had her eyes on a soft whip. She flew up and pounced toward it. Wan Shen pounced toward a halberd. Xian Yanqing pounced toward a silver mace. Lu Ming pounced toward a long spear. The others, such as Dark Knight Rose and Di Jenny, also had their own weapons and pounced toward them. For example, Di Jenny naturally had his eyes on a battle sword. The Heavenly Human Tribe's 3rd tier and 2nd tier Divine Master experts also pounced toward the weapons. There were a total of 12 guardian divine weapons. Many people had their eyes on each of them and were fighting over them. Of course, the Heavenly Human Tribe had the most people. Many Heavenly Human Tribe members had their eyes on each of the guardian divine weapons. Kill! Lu Ming shouted, his killing intent cold. He did not show any mercy as he swung his mysterious ice rod. Rod shadows appeared and blasted toward the Heavenly Human Tribe members. There was no 3rd tier Divine Master among them. The strongest one was only a 1st tier Divine Master. The others were all 9th tier Divine Masters. How could they stop Lu Ming? Under the rod shadows, these Heavenly Human Tribe experts exploded one by one, their souls scattering. This wave of attacks killed dozens of Heavenly Human Tribe members, including the 1st tier Divine Master expert. The others were terrified and did not dare to compete with Lu Ming. They quickly retreated and rushed toward the other guardian divine weapons. Lu Ming grabbed the long spear with one hand. Great! Lu Ming was delighted. He swung the long spear a few times and felt that it was very comfortable. The long spear was still more comfortable. He had been using the long spear all this time. He had no choice in the past as he did not have a suitable long spear weapon. He could only make do with the mysterious ice rod. In fact, the mysterious ice rod was not as comfortable as the long spear. Moreover, his first move, the sky-breaking move, was a spear technique. With the mysterious ice rod, it was very difficult to unleash its power. However, with this long spear it was different. The heaven-breaking style could unleash a very strong power. However, he had not refined it yet, so he could not use it. Lu Ming put the long spear away. Autumn Moon. Lu Ming looked in the direction of Autumn Moon, his face darkening. Autumn Moon's opponent was a 3rd tier Divine Master expert of the Heavenly Human Tribe. Autumn Moon was no match for a 3rd tier Divine Master expert. Autumn Moon had broken through to the Divine Master realm, and with her strength, she could easily suppress a 2nd tier Divine Master. However, she lacked a source-level divine weapon. In terms of fighting strength, there was still a big gap between her and Wan Shen, Xian Yanqing, and Dark Knight Rose. She was no match for a 3rd tier Divine Master. Bam! Autumn Moon coughed up blood and retreated into the distance. The 3rd tier Divine Master of the Heavenly Human Tribe waved his hand, sweeping up the soft whip and putting it into his storage ring. Then his figure flashed as he charged at Autumn Moon, unleashing a destructive sword light. He wanted to exterminate Xueqi. You're courting death. Lu Ming roared as he activated the greater extreme light art. His body seemed to turn into an aurora, and in a flash, he appeared near Autumn Moon and swept out with the mysterious ice rod. Clang! The mysterious ice rod shattered the opponent's destructive sword light, and the attack did not stop as it continued to bombard the opponent. The opponent was sent flying like a cannonball, coughing up blood. Chapter 4496. Lu Ming injured a 3rd-level Divine Master Heavenly Human with one move. His figure did not stop at all as he continued to charge toward the other party. This person had wanted to kill Xueqi Moon, so Lu Ming had placed him on his must-kill list. The 3rd-level Divine Lord paled and hastily retreated into the midst of the other heavenly humans. He wanted to use the other heavenly humans as a shield. Kill! Lu Ming roared, his killing intent surging as he pushed forward. The heavenly humans in his way exploded, their bodies and souls annihilated. Lu Ming's speed was not affected at all, and he quickly closed the distance between him and the heavenly human expert. Swish! With all his strength, Lu Ming threw out the mysterious ice staff. Whoosh! 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 The mysterious ice staff pierced through space, whistling through the air as it smashed toward the other party. Fast, it was too fast. The other party did not even have time to dodge, so he could only do his best to block. The power of a third-level Divine Lord was fully unleashed. The Heavenly Annihilation Power, one of the strongest heavenly powers, was fully unleashed, transforming into a gray sword light that slashed at the mysterious ice staff. Boom! There was a heaven-shaking explosion as boundless energy erupted from the point of collision, spreading out in all directions. Some of the heavenly humans with weaker cultivations who had not retreated in time were killed in midair. Then, a figure retreated, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. It was the third-level Divine Lord of the heavenly human race. Heaven Sundering Style. The moment Lu Ming threw out the mysterious ice staff, he used the Heaven Sundering Style. As the heavenly human expert retreated, Lu Ming's attack also erupted. Swish! His entire body transformed into a spear of light that pierced through space, thrusting toward the third-level Divine Lord of the heavenly human race. This person had just been injured by Lu Ming and was forced to retreat. There was no way he could dodge or resist. The spear gleam transformed from Lu Ming's body pierced through the man's glabella. The terrifying power not only destroyed his sea of consciousness and soul, but it also destroyed his dantian completely, killing a third-tier Divine Master expert. Lu Ming rushed over. The spear light disappeared, and his figure reappeared. He was already holding a storage ring in his hand. It was the storage ring of the heavenly human race cultivator. In a flash, Lu Ming appeared beside Autumn Moon. Autumn Moon, are you okay? Lu Ming asked with concern. Young master, I'm fine. It's just a minor injury. Thank you for saving me. Autumn Moon said. At this moment, her complexion was much better. She was no longer pale. Silly girl, why are you being so polite with me? Here. Lu Ming said as he handed the storage ring of the heavenly human tribe member to Autumn Moon. Then, he looked around at the battle situation. At this moment, Xian Yanqing and Wan Shen had both obtained the divine weapons they wanted. With their fighting strength, this was not surprising. Both of them were in control of powerful weapons like origin-grade divine weapons. If they unleashed their full power, it would be easy for them to kill a heavenly human expert of the second level of the Divine Master Realm. They could even fight a heavenly human expert of the third level of the Divine Master Realm. If Xian Yanqing used his origin energy and unleashed his strongest attack, even third-level Divine Lord heavenly human race experts would not be his match. On the other side, Dark Knight Rose, Di Jenny, Ling Heng, and Yin Jiuling all obtained the divine weapons they wanted. There were also two third-stage Divine Lord experts from the celestial race who had obtained a divine weapon each. In this way, there were only 2 divine weapons left out of the 12. A group of people surrounded the last 2 divine weapons and fought crazily. At this moment, Xian Yanqing, Wan Shen, Dark Knight Rose, and the 2 third-level Divine Lord heavenly human race experts all rushed toward the last 2 divine weapons. Swish! Lu Ming took a step forward and rushed toward the last 2 divine weapons like a beam of light. Oh no! Seeing Lu Ming charging toward them, all of the heavenly human race experts were shocked. Lu Ming's fighting strength was too strong. Everyone had seen how he had killed the third-level Divine Lord heavenly human race expert. No one present was Lu Ming's match. The heavenly human race experts were furious and unwilling to accept this. If not for the fact that the 4th-level Divine Lord heavenly race experts had been killed by the Life Spirit Master of the Heavenly Court, any one of them could easily suppress Lu Ming. How could Lu Ming be so arrogant now? But now they had no choice but to retreat when they saw Lu Ming charging toward them. Set up the formation to deal with them, roared a 3rd-level Divine Lord heavenly human race expert. He wanted to set up the 9 Heavens battle formation to deal with Lu Ming's group. The heavenly human race had nearly 4 Divine Lord heavenly human race experts, and more than 200 9th-level Divine Lord heavenly race experts. After setting up the 9 Heavens battle formation, its power would be astonishing. The heavenly human race experts immediately began to set up the formation. Great sealing art! Lu Ming thrust out his palm. Dense runes covered the void and intertwined together to form ribbons that climbed up the bodies of the heavenly human race experts and sealed them. Heavenly Demon Field. At the same time, Xian Yanqing also attacked. He used the heavenly demon field to envelop the heavenly human race experts and prevent them from setting up the formation. The heavenly human race experts were greatly restricted by the heavenly demon field. For a moment, they couldn't set up the 9 Heavens battle formation. Suddenly, the expressions of Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others changed. Because a terrifying force suddenly came from the ground, crushing toward Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. It was a fist energy formed by countless tiny lightning bolts. It was the power of heavenly punishment. Wherever the fist energy passed, the void collapsed. Lu Ming didn't hesitate. He waved the mysterious ice rod and attacked. At the same time, Xian Yanqing also attacked. He controlled the origin-grade divine weapon, Black Lotus, and it pressed down like a mountain. Boom! Boom! The two weapons collided with the fist energy of heavenly punishment. However, the result was that the two weapons shook violently and were thrown into the air. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were also thrown into the air by the strong recoil. Lu Ming retreated for 100 miles before he steadied himself. He waved his hand and the mysterious ice rod returned to his hand. However, his qi and blood were in turmoil. Xian Yanqing was in a worse condition. Her face was pale and blood was seeping out of the corner of her mouth. She was clearly injured. "Yi Wu," Lu Ming muttered. His face was gloomy. At this moment, a burly figure stepped into the air and slowly rose to the sky. This person was Yi Wu. Lord Yi Wu. It's Lord Yi Wu. That's great. Lord Yi Wu is fine. Ha ha ha, we can turn the tables. The heavenly human race experts were ecstatic when they saw Yi Wu. Previously, Yi Wu was captured by the life spirit of the heavenly court. Half of his forbidden energy was extracted and he was smashed to the ground. Everyone thought that Yi Wu had been killed by the life spirit of the heavenly court. Now it seemed that Yi Wu was fine. He wasn't injured at all and his aura was still very strong. Chapter 4497. What is Han Ming thinking? Is he really trying to test me? Lu Ming was speechless when he saw Yi Wu. He was willing to bet that Han Ming had done this on purpose. With Han Ming's cultivation base, there was no way he didn't know that Yi Wu was still alive. He must have let him go on purpose. There were other heavenly humans as well. With Han Ming's strength, it would be easy for him to kill them all. However, he only killed 7 or 8 of the strongest heavenly humans. This was definitely on purpose. Otherwise, he could have just given the chaos ring to Lu Ming. He even said it so loudly so that everyone could hear. It was hard to understand why someone like Han Ming would do things so strangely. At this moment, Han Ming's gaze fell on Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya Rose, and the others. His eyes were filled with boundless killing intent. He was indeed injured by Han Ming earlier, but he didn't know why Han Ming didn't kill him. In fact, Han Ming didn't even seriously injure him. He had been healing himself on the ground. Of course, there was another reason why he waited until now to make a move. He was afraid. He was afraid that Han Ming wouldn't go far. He was afraid that Han Ming would suddenly come back. Until just now, he finally made a move. Firstly, Han Ming had been gone for a while and hadn't shown up. He must have really left. Secondly, if he didn't make a move, Lu Ming and the others would have taken all the treasures. First it was the Chaos Ring. Now it was the sacred weapon. Both of them were precious treasures. If Lu Ming and the others got the treasures and left, he would vomit blood. Therefore, he couldn't help but make a move. Meanwhile, the other heavenly humans weren't just standing around. Just now, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were sent flying by Yi Wu. Naturally, the Great Seal and Heavenly Demon territory were broken. The heavenly humans moved quickly and set up 9 battle formations. Kill! The heavenly humans shouted. They formed a huge battle sword and slashed at Anya Rose, Wan Shen, and the others. Anya Rose, Wan Shen, and the others wanted to take the last 2 sacred weapons. Their expressions changed drastically. They couldn't care less about the sacred weapons. They quickly retreated to avoid the attack. Following this, the celestial race's 9 heavens battle formation released a powerful energy and grabbed at the last 2 divine weapons. The celestial race put away the last 2 divine weapons and temporarily placed them in the hands of 2 third-layer divine lord experts. Now that Han Ming isn't here, who can save you? Yi Wu swept his cold gaze over Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the rest. In the end, his gaze landed on Lu Ming. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, greed and desire. No, maybe all of this is a blessing and not a curse for me. I already have enough experience in fusing with taboo energy. I'll capture you, bring you back to the heavenly palace, and extract your taboo energy. Then I'll be able to fuse with a complete taboo energy. Ha ha ha. Yi Wu sneered. He took a step toward Lu Ming. His aura became stronger and stronger. Boom! Boom! He punched out with both fists. The heavenly punishment energy turned into fist energy and bombarded Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Ha! Lu Ming shouted. He waved the obsidian staff and attacked continuously. The sky was filled with staff shadows. Xian Yanqing also attacked with all his strength. He controlled the Black Lotus. The petals of the Black Lotus flew out. Each petal turned into a powerful weapon and flew toward Yi Wu. The attacks of the two sides collided in the air, creating a violent shockwave. However, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were still no match for Yi Wu. They were forced to retreat. This guy is really strong. Even without the forbidden energy. Lu Ming's mind raced. Yi Wu was definitely a top genius. He was extremely powerful. If he was in the Divine Emperor realm, his combat strength would not be weaker than the average heavenly princess. Otherwise, he would not have been able to successfully fuse with half of the forbidden energy. Therefore, although he was also a third-level divine master, his combat strength was much stronger than the other third-level divine masters of the heavenly human tribe. On the other side, the 9 heavens battle formations set up by the other heavenly human tribe members did not stay idle. They formed a huge heavenly human tribe king. He held a huge battle sword. When he swung the battle sword, the sky was filled with sword energy. The sword energy slashed toward Anya Rose, Di Jenny, Wan Shen, and Autumn Moon. Other than Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming, everyone was enveloped in the sword energy. Anya Rose, Wan Shen, and the others gave up fighting and joined forces. However, they were still no match for Yi Wu. They were forced to retreat. On Anya Rose's side, one of the geniuses was careless and had his forehead pierced by a sword energy. He died instantly. A top genius was killed just like that. The 9 heavens battle formation of the heavenly human tribe contained 2 third-level divine masters, 7 second-level divine masters, and nearly 200 ninth-level divine emperors. These were all seniors who had cultivated for many years and were very powerful. When they set up the 9 heavens battle formation together, its power was even more shocking. It was not something that Anya Rose and the others could fight against. Seeing this, Yi Wu's smile widened. So what if you have the treasure? In the end, it will fall into my hands. Little bastards, I'll send you on your way. Yi Wu sneered. A gray energy appeared on his left hand. This was the heavenly extermination energy. Obviously, Yi Wu also controlled 2 types of heavenly powers. He held the heavenly punishment energy in one hand and the heavenly extermination energy in the other. He charged toward Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing again. Battle Character Manual. 8 times combat strength. Lu Ming shouted in his mind. In his sea of consciousness, the Battle Character Manual gave off a hazy glow. The power in Lu Ming's body increased by another notch. This was 8 times the combat strength of the Battle Character Manual. That's right. For such a long time, Lu Ming's cultivation had not only been focused on comprehending his secret skills and improving his cultivation level. Whenever he had time, he would also comprehend the Battle Character Manual. He could have triggered the Battle Character Manual to increase his combat strength by 7 times a long time ago. Even if the Battle Character Manual increased his combat strength by 8 times, there was still a 10% chance of triggering it. He had been trying to trigger it earlier and had finally succeeded. Boom! The mysterious ice rod became extremely large and smashed toward Yi Wu. At the same time, Xian Yanqing also attacked. The heavenly punishment energy and heavenly extermination energy collided with the mysterious ice rod and the Black Lotus, turning the void into a chaotic mess. The energy blasted the ground, causing it to explode continuously. The ancient buildings crumbled one after another. If the Life Spirit Heavenly Court had been at its peak, their attack power would not have been able to destroy the buildings or cause any damage. However, after such a long time, the Life Spirit Heavenly Court had become much weaker and was about to decay. But soon, Xian Yanqing retreated, blood flowing from his mouth. Although Lu Ming had blocked most of the force, Yi Wu's combat strength had increased after using 2 types of heavenly powers. He was no longer someone Xian Yanqing could fight against. Even Lu Ming's blood was boiling. On the other side, Wan Shen, Autumn Moon, and the others were in even more danger. They had been forced to the point where they could not fight back. All they could do was defend. Moreover, even if they defended, they did not feel like they could last much longer. Chapter 4498. Xian Yanqing, come and help us. Otherwise, if we die, You won't be able to leave either. Dark Knight Rose shouted. She and Xian Yanqing could only fight against the Nine Heavens battle formation if they worked together. They couldn't fight against the heavenly human race's Nine Heavens battle formation alone. Xian Yanqing hesitated. She wanted to stay and help Lu Ming, but on the other side, the 10,000 gods and Autumn Moon were in danger. If she didn't work together with Dark Knight Rose, the 10,000 gods and Autumn Moon would be in danger. Little Qing, go and work with her. Lu Ming sent a message to Xian Yanqing. But this guy, Xian Yanqing looked at Yi Wu. Yi Wu was too strong. She was afraid that Lu Ming wouldn't be able to stop him alone. Don't worry. I still have a trump card that I haven't used yet. I might even be able to kill him. Lu Ming sent a message to Xian Yanqing. He still had a trump card that he hadn't used yet. Of course, it wasn't Xueqi. Xueqi was only at the 9th level of the Divine God realm. Lu Ming wouldn't let him fight. As for Guo, he couldn't help much either. His trump card was his origin energy and the second move of his self-created secret technique, the Desolate Style. There was also the Purple Copper Coffin. Lu Ming would take out the Purple Copper Coffin if he couldn't do it. However, the Purple Copper Coffin was too strange. Ever since his past self was sucked into the Purple Copper Coffin, he had been traumatized by it. He didn't want to take out the Purple Copper Coffin unless he had no other choice. Also, taking out the Purple Copper Coffin at the drop of a hat would not help him train. Seeing Lu Ming's confident expression, Xian Yanqing finally nodded and flew toward Dark Knight Rose. You still want to help? Do you think I'm not here? Yi Wu shouted coldly. A battle sword appeared in his hand. It was also a top-tier divine weapon. He slashed it towards Xian Yanqing. However, Lu Ming had his eyes on Yi Wu from the start. As soon as Yi Wu moved, Lu Ming moved as well. He swept the Bingxian staff horizontally and blocked Yi Wu's sword. You still want to stop Shaoqing? Do you think I don't exist? Lu Ming followed suit and said coldly. Haha. Yi Wu laughed coldly and said. So what if we let her go? Would they be able to fight against the Nine Heavens battle formation with her help? How naive. However, he was immediately rendered speechless. This was because Xian Yanqing had already arrived and was cooperating with Dark Knight Rose to perform a joint attack. A black lotus and a heaven-devouring rose, one on top and one on the bottom, exploded with astonishing field energy, enveloping the entire Nine Heavens battle formation. The power of the field energy had an incomparably powerful destructive power. Ordinary experts would be turned into ashes in an instant if they were inside it. Now, Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose had both broken through to the Divine Master Realm. They were the first to break through to the Divine Master Realm, which meant that they had cultivated in the Divine Creation formation for hundreds of years after breaking through to the Divine Master Realm. Their cultivation was already extremely terrifying. Although they hadn't broken through to the second level of the Divine Master Realm, they had almost reached the peak of the first level. Now, the joint attack that the two of them performed was even more terrifying. It was many times stronger than when they were in the Divine Emperor realm. If a third-level heavenly human expert was enveloped by the joint attack, he would be killed in an instant. Even a fourth-level Divine Master would be injured or even killed if they were enveloped by the joint attack. Therefore, the Nine Heavens battle formation of the heavenly human tribe kept shaking. The heavenly human tribe king kept swinging his battle sword, but he couldn't break through the joint attack of the two. The two of them were in a stalemate. The others heaved a sigh of relief and had time to catch their breath. Yi Wu was dumbfounded. Although he knew that Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose had a joint attack, he didn't expect it to be so powerful. Then, he exploded with killing intent. I'll kill you first, then I'll break their joint attack. Yi Wu shouted and charged at Lu Ming. The two supreme heavenly powers were activated to the extreme. Lu Ming was not afraid at all. He waved the obsidian staff and charged at Yi Wu. Boom. Boom. The two of them exchanged rapid blows. Lu Ming kept retreating. He was at a disadvantage. However, although Lu Ming was at a disadvantage, it wasn't a one-sided battle. He could barely block Yi Wu's attacks. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged more than a dozen blows. Primitive style. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Ming used the primitive style. A boundless continent suddenly appeared, exuding a vast and majestic aura. It pressed down on Yi Wu. Boom. Yi Wu held the combat sword in his hand and slashed at the continent, causing a deafening explosion. Suddenly, cracks appeared on the continent. Finally it exploded with a bang. However, the Great Desolation style was made up of all kinds of secret arts, and it was modeled after the Great Desolation era. It contained the boundless might of the Great Desolation era, and when it burst forth, it was so powerful that even Yi Wu was forced to retreat. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and stepped into the void. The obsidian staff flew out of his hand and smashed toward Yi Wu. As for Lu Ming, he continued to use the primeval style to attack Yi Wu. The continent continued to condense and covered a large area of the void. It was like a world, pressing down on Yi Wu. Mountains and rivers could be vaguely seen on the continent. It was a breathtaking sight and contained infinite power. Yi Wu's face was solemn. He shouted and pushed his strength to the extreme. The two supreme heavenly powers intertwined and activated the combat sword to fight Lu Ming. However, Yi Wu's combat strength at its peak was not wasted. Half of the taboo energy in his body was drained, which had a great impact on him. Otherwise, with his combat strength, Lu Ming would not be able to fight him who was 2 levels above him. However, Lu Ming could do it now. The two of them exchanged another blow. They were evenly matched and retreated. Then they clashed again. I have to end this quickly. I have to catch him off guard. Lu Ming thought to himself. Whether it was activating the obsidian staff or the primitive style, it consumed a lot of taboo energy. Although he had reached the Divine Master Realm and his combat strength had increased tremendously, he could not withstand such consumption. However, if he wanted to defeat Yi Wu, he had to catch him off guard. He only had one chance, and that was the origin energy. Primitive style. Lu Ming bellowed and launched another primeval style. After exchanging a blow with Yi Wu, he retreated continuously. At the same time, the Bingxian rod also flew back. Lu Ming reached out and grabbed the Bingxian rod. He then threw it out abruptly. When Lu Ming threw out the Bingxian rod this time, he infused the power of origin in the origin seed into the Bingxian rod. However, it did not explode. While throwing out the mysterious ice rod, Lu Ming arched his body and shot toward Yi Wu like a beam of rainbow light. His hands moved at lightning speed, activating the primeval style. The obsidian staff was about to hit Yi Wu's head. Yi Wu swung his combat sword and slashed at the obsidian staff. Just like before, Yi Wu did not use his full strength. He wanted to use more of his strength to deal with Lu Ming's next move. However, the origin seed in the obsidian staff exploded. Chapter 4499. The origin energy was hidden in the obsidian staff. It only erupted when the obsidian staff clashed with Yi Wu's sword. The origin energy ignited a sliver of the obsidian staff's power, causing it to skyrocket. The obsidian staff was one of the best source-grade divine weapons. Lu Ming and the others couldn't unleash the true power of the source-grade divine weapon. They could only unleash a sliver of its power. Source-grade divine weapons contained origin imprints. Only reciprocity cultivators could unleash their true power. This was because origin realm existences could control origin energy. Lu Ming's control over origin energy was too weak. He could only unleash a sliver of the obsidian staff's power, but it was enough. The obsidian staff unleashed a shocking power that shattered Yi Wu's attack. The sword in Yi Wu's hand was also a source-grade divine weapon, but it trembled and flew out of his hand. Spurt! Yi Wu's body shook violently. He was sent flying like a meteor as he coughed up blood. His arms had exploded from the recoil of the weapon. His body was also injured in many places. His neck was broken. Not only that, but the obsidian staff also contained a terrifying power of ice. It covered his entire body, trying to freeze him. Block it! Block it! Block it for me! Yi Wu roared as he unleashed the heavenly force in his body to block the terrifying power of ice. However, Lu Ming's follow-up attack arrived at the same time. He used the primeval desolation style. A continent formed and crashed down on Yi Wu. Despair filled Yi Wu's eyes. He could only watch as the continent crashed down on him. He couldn't stop it. Boom! Yi Wu was hit by the continent. He screamed as his body slammed into the ground, creating a huge crater. Yi Wu wasn't dead yet, but he was severely injured. His body was in tatters. His foundation had been damaged. The universe bridge in his dantian had many cracks, so he couldn't muster any strength. He couldn't fight anymore. However, Lu Ming was still worried. He swooped down and used the Great Sealing technique to seal Yi Wu. Only then did he rush to the battlefield where Xian Yanqing and the others were fighting. How is this possible? At this moment, The heavenly humans were extremely shocked. Lu Ming had actually defeated Yi Wu. They were well aware of how talented Yi Wu was. If Yi Wu hadn't spent so much time and energy to fuse with the forbidden power, his cultivation level would have been higher than the third-level Divine Master realm. Such a powerful person had actually been defeated by Lu Ming, a first-layer Divine Master. This shattered their understanding of the world. The members of the heavenly human tribe were shocked, while Xian Yanqing, the myriad god tribe, and the others were overjoyed. Boom! Lu Ming made his move. He wielded the obsidian staff and attacked the heavenly human tribe's 9 heavens battle formation. When the mysterious ice staff entered the range of Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose's combined attack, it did not affect him at all. Of course, this was controlled by Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose. Then, the mysterious ice staff crashed into the heavenly human tribe monarch formed by the 9 heavens battle formation. With a loud boom, the heavenly human tribe monarch's body shook violently, and the light on his body dimmed. Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose took advantage of this and attacked the heavenly human tribe monarch. The light on the heavenly human tribe monarch grew dimmer and dimmer, as if he would collapse at any moment. Steady, steady, you must steady yourself. Attack with all your might. Charge toward the east. The 2 third-level Divine Master heavenly humans roared. The combat strength of Lu Ming and the others had exceeded their expectations. Now, they could only rely on the 9 heavens battle formation. Without the 9 heavens battle formation, they were no match for Lu Ming and the others. They would be crushed mercilessly. All the heavenly human tribe members roared angrily. They burned the power of heaven and activated the 9 heavens battle formation with all their might. The light on the heavenly human tribe monarch brightened again. Boom! At this time, Lu Ming attacked again. The mysterious ice staff struck down, causing the heavenly human tribe monarch to tremble violently. Among them, the 9th-level divine gods trembled violently and some even spat out blood. They had to defend against Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose's combined attack and Lu Ming's attack at the same time. It was too difficult. At the same time, Wan Shen, Autumn Moon, Di Jenny and the others also attacked the 9 heavens battle formation with all their might. Although their combat strength was not as strong as Lu Ming's, they still brought great pressure to the heavenly human tribe. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming did not speak. He only activated the mysterious ice staff and attacked continuously. The heavenly human tribe members burned the power of heaven and fought with all their might. However, their power of heaven was limited. Especially the 9th-level divine gods of the heavenly human tribe. They could not even withstand the rebounding power. Their faces were pale and blood was seeping out of the corners of their mouths. The power in their bodies was getting weaker and weaker. Break! Lu Ming let out a long cry and made a move with all his might. At the same time, Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose also used all their strength to maximize the power of their combined attack. Boom! This time, the huge body of the heavenly human king that was formed by the heavenly human king directly exploded. Ah! Many cultivators of the 9th great supreme god layer gave horrible shrieks. Their bodies exploded and they died. There were close to 200 9th layer god emperor experts of the heavenly human clan, and at least 50 of them had died. The others were also injured. The 9 heavens battle formation had been broken. However, at this moment, Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose also trembled. Blood flowed out of their mouths as they staggered backward. The 2 of them had been using their combined attack with all their strength. After persisting for so long, they had reached the end of their rope. The energy in their bodies was about to be exhausted. With the disappearance of the joint attack, the heavenly humans seemed to have seen a glimmer of hope. Run! Spread out! Many heavenly humans roared. The remaining 150 to 60 heavenly human tribe powerful beings fled in all directions. You want to leave? Say! Stop them! The 10,000 deities, Autumn Moon, and the others shouted as they chased after the heavenly humans. Try to keep them alive. I have something to ask them, Lu Ming said to the 10,000 deities and the others. His body did not stop as he charged at the 2 third-layer divine masters. The 2 third-layer divine masters paled as they fled in 2 different directions. Humph! None of you can escape from me. Lu Ming snorted as he threw the obsidian staff at one of the third-layer divine masters. The obsidian staff tore through the void with incredible speed. It caught up to the third-layer divine master in an instant and swung it at his body. Now that Lu Ming had activated the battle incantation, his combat strength had increased by 8 times. His strength was at its peak and he was able to fight Yi Wu. The third-tier Divine Master Heavenly Human was unable to withstand the blow. He was sent flying by the cudgel and smashed into the ground in the distance. His body was severely damaged by the powerful force and he was sealed in ice by a gust of cold energy. As for Lu Ming himself, he had caught up with another third-level Divine Master expert. End of this chapter. Chapter 4500. Lu Ming caught up with the other third-tier Divine Master expert and directly used the heaven-breaking move, piercing through the person's dantian and crippling his cultivation. The two third-level Divine Master Realm experts from the Heavenly Human tribe were killed instantly. They couldn't resist Lu Ming's attack at all. Not far away, Anya Rose, Di Jenny, Ling Heng, and the others saw this and their faces were solemn. Their eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. Lu Ming's fighting power is getting more and more terrifying. No one can stop him. If Yi Qiuxian can't catch up, he will be left behind. It's the sorrow of other geniuses to be born in the same era as him. Ling Heng sighed. He was originally the #1 on the universe genius list, overlooking countless geniuses in the universe. Not many of the previous #1 on the universe genius list were as powerful as him. He used to be confident that he wouldn't be afraid even if it was the Heavenly Human tribe's heavenly princess. In the history of the universe, how many people could fight against the heavenly sons and heavenly daughters? He was high-spirited and thought that there were only a handful of people in the universe who could match him. He could only look for them in the Heavenly Human tribe. However, the battle in Taishang Immortal City had a huge impact on him. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya Rose, Wan Shen, one after another, they weren't from the Heavenly Human tribe but they displayed terrifying strength. All of them were stronger and more powerful than him. In addition, Di Jenny, Yin Jioling, Autumn Moon, Bubbles, and the others were all outstanding geniuses in the universe. They weren't any weaker than him. This made him realize that he had been a frog in a well. That was why he joined Dark Knight Rose in the end, all for the sake of becoming stronger. Now that he saw Lu Ming's fighting power, he felt a sense of helplessness. How could he catch up with such a freak? How could he surpass him? Crack! Di Jenny clenched his fists and his face was filled with unwillingness. Lu Ming's rise is unstoppable. Don't offend him in the future. Now, let's leave quickly. This place has nothing to do with us. Dark Knight Rose's voice rang in Di Jenny, Ling Heng, Yin Jioling and the others' ears. Then, their figures flickered and disappeared. Lu Ming knew that Dark Knight Rose and the others had left, but he didn't stop them. After Lu Ming suppressed the two third-layer Divine Master existences, he didn't stop at all. He continued to attack the other members of the Heavenly Human race. With a wave of his hand, the Heavenly Humans were crushed to the ground like raindrops, and they all spat out mouthfuls of blood. However, Lu Ming didn't kill these Heavenly Humans. He still had questions for them. Myriad God and Autumn Moon joined forces to suppress the Heavenly Human tribe members. Because Xian Yanqing had lost too much power, he was already powerless to attack. However, he was still able to protect himself. A Heavenly Human tribe cultivator wanted to take Xian Yanqing as a hostage, but he was killed by her with a single strike. The other members of the Heavenly Human tribe could only give up on the idea. However, there were too many people from the Heavenly Human tribe. There were a total of 150 to 60 of them who were fleeing in all directions. Lu Ming, Wan Shen, and Qiu could not suppress all of them. In the end, about 50 Heavenly Human tribe members were suppressed. They were severely injured and couldn't move. The other members of the Heavenly Human tribe had fled. Swoosh! Lu Ming landed in front of a third-tier Divine Master Elder. He grabbed the air with his hand and grabbed the storage ring of the Elder. He remembered that this person had obtained 2 divine weapons of the Divine Hall. He scanned the storage ring with his spiritual consciousness. As expected, he saw 2 divine weapons in the storage ring. The Elder looked at Lu Ming in horror. He knew that since he had fallen into Lu Ming's hands, his fate wouldn't be good. Therefore, he didn't beg for mercy. You're a smart person. Now that you've fallen into my hands, only death awaits you. However, if you honestly answer a few of my questions, I can let you die a quick death. Otherwise, you won't be able to die even if you want to. Lu Ming said coldly. Ask away. If I can answer, I will naturally answer. If I can't, even if I want to die, I won't answer, the third-layer Divine Master said. I won't answer, the third-layer Divine Master expert said. Those who had lived to this age and reached this level of cultivation all had extremely firm wills. All right. Let me ask you. Have you seen this woman before? Lu Ming took out a jade talisman. The jade talisman glowed, and a portrait appeared in the air. It was a woman. Naturally, it was Ling Yue. From the looks of it, she's from the fairy race. This woman looks familiar. Right, she seems to be the fairy princess. The third-layer divine master heavenly human muttered. Lu Ming's heart sank. You've seen her before? I mean, have you seen her in the life-soul heavenly court? I've seen her portrait in the dream divine jade, but I've never seen her in the life-soul heavenly court. The third-layer divine master shook his head. You've never seen her before? But her life-soul origin stone fragment is in the hands of the celestial race. Lu Ming said coldly. I've been setting up a protective array to refine the life-soul origin stone fragment. Those who went to seize it were first-layer divine masters and second-layer divine masters, as well as god emperors. If you want to ask this, you can ask them. The third-layer divine master Tao of existence. Lu Ming's expression was somewhat gloomy. In the end, he walked up to a second-layer divine master heavenly human. When Lu Ming attacked just now, he had specifically targeted the divine masters. Therefore, other than the two third-layer divine masters, there were 3 other divine masters left behind by Lu Ming. Have you seen her in the life-soul heavenly court? Lu Ming asked, pointing at Ling Yue's portrait. No. The other party replied. No. But her life-soul origin stone fragment is in your hands. Lu Ming said coldly, his expression dark. So what if it's in our hands? We killed a group of people and seized their life-soul origin stone fragments, but not all of them were obtained by killing people. 2 of them were ownerless and were flying around this ancient city. We just happened to bump into them. The second-layer divine master heavenly human looked at Lu Ming without any fear in his eyes. Ownerless. Lu Ming frowned, and then a glimmer of hope appeared in his eyes. He remembered the abnormality of the life-soul origin stone fragment. It was the life-soul origin stone fragment that had flown in this direction. He had come here to pursue it. If he had other matters to attend to and didn't have the time to chase after the life-soul origin stone fragment, he wouldn't have come here. Could it be that Ling Yue was delayed by other matters and didn't chase after the life-soul origin stone fragment? Of course, this was only Lu Ming's guess. He wasn't sure. Next, Lu Ming asked another heavenly human, and the answers he received were similar. After that, Lu Ming asked more than 10 people, and they all said that they had never seen Ling Yue. Perhaps Ling Yue was really delayed by something and didn't come here. Lu Ming pondered, and a glimmer of hope appeared in his heart. Lu Ming, how should we deal with these people? The myriad god asked. Kill. Lu Ming said coldly. Chapter 4501. Not long after, Lu Ming and the other 3 headed toward the periphery of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. As for the heavenly humans, Wan Shen took care of them all, including Yi Wu, who was also killed by Wan Shen. The primordial divine spirits and the heavenly human tribe were mortal enemies. The myriad gods were born from the essence, chi, and spirit of dozens of primordial divine spirits. They were born to hate the heavenly human tribe and would not rest until the heavenly human tribe was dead. Therefore, he never showed mercy to the heavenly human tribe. After killing the heavenly humans and taking their storage rings, Lu Ming and the others prepared to leave the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. After all, the news that some of the heavenly humans had escaped would spread quickly. It was not good to stay here for long. Anyway, they had gained a lot from this trip. Their cultivation had soared and they had broken through to the Divine Master Realm. In the primitive universe, the Divine Master Realm was a threshold. Only when one reached the Divine Master Realm could one truly enter the ranks of the top experts in the universe. This time they could be said to have entered the ranks of the top experts in the universe. Moreover, their greatest gain was the treasures. Each of them had obtained an origin divine weapon. Xian Yanqing had obtained a silver mace. Autumn Moon had obtained a soft whip. Wan Shen had obtained a halberd. They were all the Life Spirit Heavenly Court's 18 guardian divine weapons and were considered the top among the origin divine weapons. Lu Ming's gain was, of course, the greatest. Not only did he break through, but he also comprehended the second secret technique of his own, the primitive style. In addition, he had obtained the primitive ring, a treasure of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. He had also obtained 5 of the Palace Guardian divine weapons. Yes, 5 of them. 4 of them were snatched from the 2 third-level divine masters of the heavenly humans. The two third-level divine masters of the heavenly humans had each obtained one of the 12 palace guardian divine weapons when they first fought over them. Later, the two extra weapons were also taken by the two of them after Yi Wu made a move. In the end, Lu Ming benefited from all of them. Lu Ming had also taken them out and planned to share them with Xian Yanqing, Wan Shen, and Autumn Moon. However, the three of them shook their heads. They had obtained one, which was more than enough. They were all attack-type soul-grade divine weapons. One was enough, and more wouldn't be of much use. They didn't have enough energy to activate them, so they left them with Lu Ming for the time being. Apart from these gains, Lu Ming also obtained quite a number of broken divine weapons which could be used as Xueqi's rations. This trip could be said to be a great harvest. However, Lu Ming was worried about Ling Yue's safety. It was not difficult for them to return. They had memorized Chu Yi's map before. According to Chu Yi's map, they would not lose their way. In addition, there was no danger, so they were very fast. It didn't take long for them to leave the Life Spirit Heavenly Court and enter the thick fog. A few days later, they left the fog and headed towards the Heaven Destroyer. The Life Spirit Heavenly Court was originally in the ruins of the universe, so it wasn't too far away from the Heaven Destroyer. After some time, they returned to the Heaven Destroyer. As soon as they returned to the Heaven Destroyer, Lu Ming and the others immediately went to look for Fei Huang. Lu Ming had two main purposes for looking for Fei Huang. Firstly, regarding Ling Yue, he wanted to ask Fei Huang to use some resources to investigate Ling Yue's safety. Secondly, it was about the Life Spirit. The Master of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court was not dead. The taboo power had fused into one and was reborn. This was a big deal. For someone like the Master of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court, once he recovered to his peak, he had the ability to overturn the universe. He had to inform Fei Huang and the others as soon as possible so that they could prepare countermeasures. It would be best to pull the other party into their camp. However, before they arrived at the place where Fei Huang was cultivating in seclusion, they met an old acquaintance. Yiling. It seems like you guys have made a wasted trip looking for Senior Fei Huang. Senior Fei Huang has something to do and left. Yiling said. Senior Fei Huang left? Lu Ming was stunned. That's right. It's because of a big matter that has something to do with you. I've been looking for you for a long time, but you haven't been around during this period of time, Yiling said. It has something to do with me. What is it? Lu Ming was stunned. He had a bad feeling in his heart. It's about the space-time spirit rats and the World Turtle Clan. The Heavenly Palace has made a move against these two clans. They want to destroy the two clans or leave a part of them behind to completely control the two clans. Yiling said. What? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Wan Shen, and Xueqi were all shocked. Lu Ming was even more shocked. The Heavenly Palace dared to make a move against the World Turtle Clan and the space-time spirit rats. It must be because of him. In the Grand Supreme Immortal City, Bubbles and Dandan had helped him deal with the heavenly human race. He did not expect the heavenly human race to be so ruthless and decisive. They actually wanted to destroy the two clans. Also, how were Bubbles and Dandan? Lu Ming was extremely worried. Lu Ming, you don't have to worry too much. The space-time spirit rats and the World Turtle Clan seem to have guessed that they would be in big trouble, so they contacted us in advance and wanted to join forces with us. Yiling said. The space-time spirit rats and the World Turtle Clan want to join forces with the Heaven Destroyer? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. This was beyond his expectations. That's right. In fact, you don't know. The space-time spirit rats have long wanted to join forces with us, but they haven't made up their minds. This time, we forced them to make a decision. After receiving the news from the two clans, Senior Fei Huang and the others went to support the two clans as they retreated to the universe ruins. With many senior experts supporting them, I think the two clans will be fine, Yiling said. Hearing this, Lu Ming breathed a sigh of relief. The two clans were one step ahead of time and passed the news to the Heaven Destroyer. With Fei Huang and the others supporting them, they should be fine and could safely retreat to the universe ruins. This was even better. Now, Lu Ming and the Heavenly Palace were on opposite sides. They would not rest until one of them was dead. As for Dandan, his relationship with Bubbles had always been a big rock in his heart. He was afraid that the Heavenly Palace would deal with Dandan and Bubbles because of him. Now that the two clans had joined forces with the Heaven Destroyer and arrived at the universe ruins, they did not have to be afraid that the heavenly human race would deal with Bubbles and Dandan. Lu Ming, You guys can wait here with peace of mind. I believe that it won't be long before Senior Fei Huang and the others return. Yiling said. Lu Ming nodded. Then, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, and Wan Shen returned to their residence. The four of them took out their god weapons and began to refine them. Without refining them, it was difficult to control and exert their power. Lu Ming also took out his long spear. The long spear was golden as if it was cast from gold. Lu Ming played with it for a while and showed a satisfied look. He still preferred the spear type of weapon. It was time for the ice mystic rod to retire. Immediately, Lu Ming began to refine it. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, it was not difficult to refine the long spear. Soon after, it was refined by Lu Ming. Chapter 4502. War God Spear. After refining the golden spear, a name automatically appeared in Lu Ming's mind. It was the name of the spear. Swoosh, swoosh. Lu Ming held the spear in his hand and stabbed it a few times, piercing a few pitch-black holes in the space. However, Lu Ming had excellent control of his power. The space was pierced but there wasn't much movement. Soon, the pitch-black holes in the space automatically healed and disappeared. Then with a thought, the War God Spear turned into a ray of light and flew into Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. The next moment, a ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand. The Great Desolation Ring. Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly. This was one of the 4 supreme treasures of the heavenly court. How mysterious would it be if it was above the 18 divine weapons? Lu Ming began to refine it. A day later, Lu Ming stopped refining. His face was a little surprised. It's so difficult to refine. It's many times harder than the divine weapons, Lu Ming muttered, but his eyes were filled with joy. The harder it was to refine, the more mysterious the Great Desolation Ring was. Continue. Lu Ming continued to refine it, and the forbidden power was constantly injected into the Great Desolation Ring. Just like that, a few more days passed and Lu Ming finally refined the Great Desolation Ring. Lu Ming quickly probed with his spirit sense. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared on a boundless continent. This is... Lu Ming opened his eyes wide. This was naturally formed by his spirit sense, but there was no difference between his senses and his body. What entered his eyes was a boundless continent. There was actually a continent inside the Great Desolation Ring. This continent exuded an unbelievable aura. Ancient, grand, vast, majestic, heavy. Lu Ming felt that it was difficult to find words to describe this continent. Moreover, the aura that this continent gave him was very similar to the universe ruins and the Taishang Immortal City. However, whether it was the universe ruins or the Grand Supreme Immortal City, their auras were not as strong as this continent. Could this be the Great Desolate Continent? Lu Ming suddenly had a thought. He was somewhat flabbergasted. At the same time, he was shocked by his own thoughts. The primeval continent was hidden in this world? That's impossible. Wasn't the Great Desolate Continent destroyed in the last era? Lu Ming immediately rejected this idea. The reason for that was because even though the continent in the Great Desolation Ring was enormous and appeared to be boundless, there was actually a limit to it. Lu Ming had already refined the Great Desolation Ring. As the owner of the Great Desolation Ring, he could clearly sense the size of this continent. The area of this continent was very large, 10 times larger than the Dragon Clan's mother planet. However, it was definitely not the Great Desolate Continent of the previous epoch. In the previous era, the Eldritch Continent contained all the stars and energy in the universe ruins and the Eldritch universe. It was so huge that it was comparable to many Dragon Mother planets. No, it's not the Great Desolate Continent. Perhaps it was refined from the fragments of the Great Desolate Continent. Lu Ming guessed in his heart. This ring was called the Great Desolation Ring, which explained a lot of things. However, everything was just Lu Ming's guess. There was no other information. He would have to ask the life spirit of the heavenly court in the future. What a rich energy. Is this energy the Great Desolation Qi? Lu Ming muttered and observed carefully. This continent was filled with rich energy. This energy was very similar to the Great Desolation Qi in the Grand Supreme Immortal City. On the continent, there were mountains, rivers and ancient trees. It was full of vitality. There were even many heavenly treasures growing in the mountains. Ancient trees and spirit herbs were everywhere. However, other than that, Lu Ming didn't see any other living beings. There was no living being on this continent, not even a mosquito. Treasure. It's really a treasure. If I cultivate here, my cultivation level will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. However, it's not very useful to me. Lu Ming thought. The Great Desolation Ring was definitely a rare treasure. If he let other people cultivate here, their cultivation speed would definitely increase rapidly. The manifestation realm was too good. It really seemed like the Great Desolation continent of the previous epoch. However, that was only for those below the Divine Master Realm. It was not very useful for those above the Divine Master Realm. No, it might not be useless to me. Suddenly, Lu Ming had a flash of inspiration. The second secret technique that he comprehended, the Great Desolation style, was based on the Great Desolation continent. When executed, it would form a Great Desolation continent to suppress the enemy. However, that Great Desolation continent was only Lu Ming's imagination. Hence, the Great Desolation continent that he formed lacked spirituality. The mountains and rivers on it were also blurry. If the continent in the Great Desolation Ring was really made from the fragments of the Great Desolation continent, Lu Ming could use the Great Desolation Ring as a template to continue comprehending the Great Desolation style and perfect it. He could make the Great Desolation style continuously stronger. Could this be the reason why the life spirit of the Heavenly Court left the Great Desolation Ring to Lu Ming? The life spirit had taken away the other three great treasures of the Heavenly Court, but it had left the Great Desolation Ring to Lu Ming. It was not unreasonable. The continent in the Great Desolation Ring was completely different from the floating continent fragments in the universe ruins. Although the floating continent fragments in the universe ruins were formed after the Great Desolation continent collapsed, too much time had passed and the epochs had changed. They had long decayed and changed. They had long lost the charm of the Great Desolation continent and had become some dead continents. However, the continent in the Great Desolation Ring was like a miniature version of the Great Desolation continent. It was alive. Although he did not know how the life spirit of the Heavenly Court was refined, he did not know. Perhaps, the life spirit was not refined by the life spirit of the Heavenly Court, but obtained by him. He did not know any of this. Not bad, not bad. This Great Desolation Ring is very useful to me. Lu Ming's face lit up with joy. He had family and friends. In the past he had wandered everywhere. His family and friends were either in the chaotic astral river or in the corners of the Taishu dynasty. They did not have a good cultivation environment. Lu Ming had never gone back to visit them, mainly to protect them. The Taishu dynasty or the chaotic astral river were too remote. He did not leave any clues when he came out. The Heavenly Palace might not be able to find him. However, once he returned, he would leave behind clues that could be captured by the Heavenly Palace. However, it was different with the Great Desolation Ring. Lu Ming planned to go back when he was free and send his family and friends into the Great Desolation Ring. Then, he would bring them to the universe ruins. However, Lu Ming still had a question in his heart. Was the Great Desolation Ring only used for this? After all, the Great Desolation Ring was one of the life spirit's 4 great treasures of the Heavenly Court. If it only had these functions, it felt a little lacking. The life spirit was one of the 4 great treasures of the Heavenly Court. It was the top treasure in the universe. Even the Origin Realm experts would be jealous and fight over it. It could only be used to nurture existences below the Divine Master Realm. It did not seem to be worthy of the title of 4 great treasures. Chapter 4503. Legend had it that the life spirit was one of the 4 great treasures of the Heavenly Court. It was extremely useful to reciprocity cultivators. Even reciprocity cultivators would covet it and fight for it with their lives. However, looking at the effects of the Chaos Ring, it did not seem to be worthy of being one of the 4 great treasures. At the very least, reciprocity cultivators would not fight for it because it was useless to them. Those from large organizations and clans would be tempted, but those lone reciprocity cultivators would not be interested at all. That was why Han Ming had given him the Chaos Ring to repay him for saving his life. Had the other 3 treasures been taken away? Or did the Chaos Ring have other uses that he had not discovered? Many thoughts appeared in Lu Ming's mind. Overall, the Chaos Ring had disappointed Lu Ming slightly because it did not meet his expectations. However, Lu Ming adjusted very quickly. At the very least, he could use it to nurture his family and friends. With a thought, the Chaos Ring turned into a streak of light and flew into his sea of consciousness. Oh, Yiling has sent a message. Lu Ming took out a communication jade talisman. This communication jade talisman had been refined by a reciprocity cultivator from the Heaven Destroyer. It could transmit messages very far away. Although it was not as profound as the illusory god jade from the heavenly palace, it was enough for normal use. Moreover, the illusory god jade could only be used in the chaos universe. Once he entered the chaos universe, the illusory god jade would be useless and the messages would be cut off. Lu Ming scanned the message in the jade talisman with his spiritual sense and was pleasantly surprised. The World Turtle and Space-Time Spiritual Mouse clans are here. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He opened the door and walked out. As soon as he walked out, he saw Xian Yanqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shen walking out as well. Clearly, they had also received the message. The four of them flew towards where Fei Huang was cultivating. However, halfway there, they saw a wormhole suddenly appear in the distance. The wormhole was extremely large. Following that, figures flew out from it. They were from the World Turtle Clan and the Space-Time Spirit Mouse Clan. Lu Ming exclaimed in surprise. Needless to say, this wormhole was definitely opened up by a powerhouse of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse race. According to legend, the top experts of the Space-Time Spirit Mice were able to open up wormholes in the universe at will, and they were profound and unfathomable. Therefore, the Space-Time Spirit Mouse race had always been very mysterious in the universe and had a noble status. Although it wasn't one of the top 10 races, in many people's eyes, the Space-Time Spirit Mouse's status wasn't below the top 10 races. Xian Yanqing, Myriad God, and Autumn Moon were also amazed. Although Myriad God also had the ability to open wormholes, it was still inferior to an expert like the Space-Time Spirit Mouse. The Myriad God's ability to open wormholes was inherited from a certain primordial god. He was not very proficient in it, and he was not very good at it to begin with. In the universe, Space-Time Spirit Mice are very useful. I really don't know if the Heavenly Palace has lost their minds. Why would they attack Space-Time Spirit Mice? Myriad God's Tao. He might not have lost his mind. It might have been premeditated. Lu Ming said. Oh, what do you mean? Myriad God's eyes flickered. The Space-Time Spirit Mouse race has long intended to join the Heaven Destroyer. Perhaps the Heavenly Palace has already heard some rumors. It's good that the Space-Time Spirit Mice can be used by themselves, but once they join the enemy, it will be a disaster. The Heavenly Palace is probably looking for a reason to get rid of the Space-Time Spirit Mice to prevent future trouble. Lu Ming analyzed. Myriad God and the others nodded. Perhaps this was the reason. Dandan, Bubbles. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he saw Dandan and Bubbles flying out of the wormhole. Lu Ming finally felt relieved. He was relieved that Dandan and Bubbles were fine. Lu Ming! Big brother Lu Ming! Dandan and Bubbles also noticed Lu Ming and the others and quickly flew over. Lu Ming, something big has happened, Dandan shouted as soon as he arrived. I know that you are being hunted down by the Heavenly Palace. Fortunately, you are fine. Lu Ming smiled. It's not us, it's the elf race, Dandan said. What? The elf race? Lu Ming's heart suddenly trembled. He had a bad premonition. Could it be that the Heavenly Palace also attacked the elf race? We received news that the Heavenly Palace sent an army to kill the elf race. They want to eliminate the elf race from the universe, Dandan said. Lu Ming's expression was extremely ugly. He asked, how is the elf race now? When we received the news, it was already too late. It is said that the elf race's mother planet has been breached. Countless elves have been killed. I'm afraid the destruction of the elf race is inevitable. Dandan sighed. Lu Ming's heart sank. He thought of how he had interrogated the celestial race in the Life Spirit Heavenly Court if he had seen Ling Yue. The people of the celestial race all said that they had not seen Ling Yue. Lu Ming had guessed at that time that perhaps Ling Yue had not gone to the Life Spirit Heavenly Court and had been delayed by something. From the looks of it, it was very likely that it was because of the Heavenly Palace's invasion of the elf race. The Heavenly Palace had attacked the elf race. Even if the Life Spirit Origin Stone fragment had undergone a mutation and flown away by itself, Ling Yue probably wouldn't have the mood to care about it. Then, how was Ling Yue now? Lu Ming took a deep breath, calmed himself down, and asked, do you guys have any news about the elf princess Ling Yue? No, it is said that the star fields where the elf race is located are in complete chaos. There are experts from the Heavenly Palace hunting the elf race everywhere. Fei Huang and some seniors of our two races have already rushed to the elf race. They want to save a portion of the elf race and bring them to the universe ruins. However, it is hard to say how many elves they can save. Dandan said. Dandan, Bubbles, You guys can stay here and have a good rest. I still have things to do, so I won't entertain you guys." With that, Lu Ming turned around and left. "Lu Ming, I'll go with you." "Young master, wait for me." Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon called out one after another, following closely behind Lu Ming. They were very clear about Lu Ming's thoughts. They naturally knew that Lu Ming wanted to go to the elf race's star field alone to look for Ling Yue. "That's right, Lu Ming. Let's go together so that we can take care of each other." Myriad God also walked over. "Big brother Lu Ming, bring me along." Bubbles also flew over. "No, you guys can't go. Stay here." Lu Ming's face darkened as he said. Right now, they were all thorns in the eyes of the Heavenly Palace, and the star fields where the elf race was located were filled with experts from the Heavenly Palace. Once they went over and were discovered by the Heavenly Palace, they would definitely be hunted down and killed. It would be extremely dangerous. Lu Ming didn't want Xian Yanqing and the others to take the risk with him. However, he had to make this trip. He had to find Ling Yue, regardless of life or death. He had owed Ling Yue too much. It could be said that a large part of the reason why the elf race had encountered such a calamity was because of him. If it wasn't for the fact that he was pretending to be Ling Yue's fiancé, the elf race wouldn't have been so close to him, and wouldn't have been hated by the celestial race. Chapter 4504. Why can't we go but you can? Xian Yanqing said coldly. Little Qing, why do you have to? I know that the elf race is in danger now, and you don't want us to take the risk together. But can we be at ease if you take the risk alone? Xian Yanqing said, staring at Lu Ming with burning eyes. In the end, Lu Ming showed a helpless look. He walked over and pulled Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon's hands, saying, "All right, let's go together." Only then did Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon smile. However, at this moment, dense runes suddenly appeared on Lu Ming's palm. They crawled all over Xian Yanqing and Qiu Yu's bodies, shrouding them within. This was the Great Sealing technique. Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon did not expect Lu Ming to attack them. Lu Ming suddenly performed the Great Sealing technique. The two were not prepared at all and were sealed by the Great Sealing technique. Then, Lu Ming reached out and pointed at Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon's bodies, sealing their cultivation. The two of them widened their eyes and stared at Lu Ming. "Lu Ming, what are you doing?" Wan Shen was shocked. "Wan Shen, I'll leave the two of them to you to take care of. You all stay here." Lu Ming said. "Brother Lu Ming, I want to go," Bubbles said. "You're not allowed to go." Lu Ming's face turned cold, and his voice became louder. "Ow!" Bubble let out an obedient howl, pouted, and stood at the side, not daring to make a sound. "Lu Ming, you must be careful. Don't force it," Dandan said. He knew Lu Ming very well. He knew that once Lu Ming decided on something, it would be useless even if others tried to persuade him otherwise. "Don't worry, I have mastered the Great Imitation technique. The people of the Heavenly Palace might not be able to discover me," Lu Ming said. Then with a flash, he disappeared from where he stood. Lu Ming flew towards the elves with all his might. Fortunately, this was only the edge of the universe ruins, not too far away from the primitive universe. After some time, Lu Ming arrived at the primitive universe. He had already turned into a middle-aged man. Not only had his appearance changed, but even his life origin aura had changed. This was the power of the Great Imitation art. It could imitate anything that Lu Ming had ever seen, including the aura of the origin of life. This was Lu Ming's confidence. The fact that the Great Imitation art was ranked in the top 3 of the 3,000 ancient secret skills was not just for show. It was truly mysterious and unfathomable. With Lu Ming's current cultivation level, even divine masters would not be able to see through the Great Imitation art, even if they were in close contact with him. Only those in the origin realm who observed with rapt attention would be able to see through the clues. However, how many people in the origin realm were there? After arriving at the primitive universe, there were wormholes that could be used. Lu Ming took a wormhole in a nearby star field and headed towards the elves. A few days later, Lu Ming arrived at the core star field of the elves. The elves occupied many star fields. However, the star field where the elves' mother planet was located was the core star field. It was also the star field where the elves had been passed down for countless years. It had the most elves and was the star field with the best development. Swish! Like a stream of light, Lu Ming dashed in the direction of the mother planet of the elves. However, not long after, Lu Ming stopped above a huge star. This was a planet where the elves lived. However, this planet was almost completely destroyed now. Standing in the starry sky and looking at the planet, he found that the planet had completely turned into a purgatory. The planet was covered with huge craters. Huge cracks appeared on the continent on the planet. Magma was constantly spewing out and thick smoke was billowing. It was a scene of doomsday. There were no living creatures on the planet. There were corpses everywhere. They were all ordinary elves. Many of the corpses were swallowed by the magma and completely disappeared. Anger. Endless anger emerged from Lu Ming's heart. It was too cruel. The entire planet had been destroyed. The main reason was that most of the elves on it were ordinary elves with low cultivation. However, they were all killed. Lu Ming's spiritual sense covered the entire planet and found that there were no survivors. This was a true extermination. Even the ordinary civilians were not spared. Usually, in a war between races, the major forces would only kill the other side's experts. They would not deliberately kill the ordinary civilians. However, the Heavenly Palace had started a massacre. This was the method of the Heavenly Palace, the supreme force that controlled the universe. The Heavenly Palace, the Heavenly Human Tribe. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a shocking cold light. Then his figure flashed and left this place. He continued to go to the Elven Mother Planet. Along the way, he saw a few more planets with life of the elves, but they were all destroyed. Some of the planets were directly blown up. None of the living creatures on them were spared. The anger in Lu Ming's heart became stronger and stronger. The killing intent in his heart towards the Heavenly Human Tribe also became stronger and stronger. Finally, a huge planet appeared in the starry sky in front of him. This planet was the Elven Mother Planet. The Elven Mother Planet was the same as the Dragon Mother Planet. It was also born at the beginning of the universe. It was sturdy and immortal. It was not blown up. However, it could be seen that the Elven Mother Planet was full of craters. Looking from afar, one could also see huge cracks. It seemed to be slashed out by sword chi. The Elven Palace. Lu Ming flashed and went to the Elven Palace. After a while, he arrived at the Elven Palace. At this moment, the Elven Palace was completely different from when Lu Ming came back. Back then, the Elven Palace was incomparably prosperous. There were elven ancient trees everywhere. Each elven ancient tree was at least 100 miles tall. Some were even 1,000 miles tall. The lush ancient trees formed a forest. Countless elves lived on it. But now, it was all destroyed. At a glance, all of the elven ancient trees were cut, smashed, and burned. The prosperous elven palace was gone forever. On the huge ancient trees, there were elven corpses everywhere. Lu Ming's heart kept sinking. It was too late. It seemed that everything was too late. The elven race was completely destroyed. He still remembered that the elven race still owed him 100,000 elven wood cores. The elven emperor still owed him a favor. The past was vivid in his mind. When he came back, the world had changed. Things were still there but people were different. Swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, the sound of the air being pierced rang out. Figures flew from afar and surrounded Lu Ming. They were people from the Heavenly Palace. A few of them were from the Heavenly Human Tribe. The rest were heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals from the Heavenly Palace. There were people from all races. Who are you? What are you doing here? The leader of the Heavenly Human Tribe shouted and looked at Lu Ming with hostility. What? This is not the territory of the Heavenly Human Tribe. What's wrong with me coming to take a look? Lu Ming replied coldly. How dare you talk to a heavenly general like that? What kind of attitude is that? Slap yourself right now and we can leave your corpse intact. A few heavenly soldiers immediately shouted. A few Heavenly Human Tribe heavenly generals sneered at Lu Ming. Chapter 45:05. Is that so? Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he started to release his powerful energy. It was the energy of a divine lord. The heavenly soldiers and divine generals felt as if they were being suppressed by dozens of planets. Their complexions changed drastically, becoming somewhat pale. Divine lord. It's a divine lord. Some of the heavenly soldiers shouted in fear. The divine generals of the heavenly human race also looked pale. They were no longer as arrogant as before. Senior divine lord, it's a misunderstanding. We thought you were a survivor of the fairy race. We'll leave now. a divine general of the heavenly human race said. The heavenly human race was the dominator of the universe and looked down on all the races in the universe. However, it was different when they faced a divine lord. A divine lord was already a top expert in the universe and stood at the top of the cultivation world. Even the heavenly human race had to be polite to a divine lord of another race. Unless it was a divine lord of the heavenly human race. After all, a divine master was too powerful and could easily kill them. Being arrogant in the face of a divine master was akin to courting death. They would be slapped to death by a divine master. Besides, the heavenly human race wouldn't offend a divine lord for a few ordinary heavenly human race members. Once a divine lord became a divine lord, their status would be completely different. The divine generals of the heavenly human race were scared to death when they saw Lu Ming's divine lord energy. Misunderstanding? How is it a misunderstanding? I'm a friend of the fairy race. Lu Ming said coldly. The heavenly soldiers and divine generals were shocked. Retreat. Send a message immediately and ask the divine lord to come here. The divine generals of the heavenly human race reacted quickly. They quickly retreated and shouted at the same time. Retreat? Lu Ming smiled coldly and his eyes were filled with killing intent. He flicked his finger and dozens of spear lights shot out from his fingertips toward the heavenly soldiers and divine generals. Poof, poof, poof. The gap between the heavenly soldiers and Lu Ming was too big. The strongest one was only a fourth-layer divine god. Even if Lu Ming only attacked casually, they wouldn't be able to resist it. One by one, they were pierced by the spear light and died on the spot. Only 3 heavenly human tribe divine generals survived, but their cultivations were also destroyed. Of course, Lu Ming had deliberately spared their lives because he had something to ask. I'll ask you a few questions. If you answer honestly, I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, you'll be begging for death. Lu Ming asked coldly. How is the fairy emperor now? The elven king is dead. Only a few elves who were scattered all over the world are still alive. Now, the masters of the heavenly palace are surrounding you. You dared to kill the people of the heavenly palace. You will die sooner or later. A heavenly human divine general roared. He knew that he was going to die, so he was fearless. Moreover, Lu Ming's question wasn't a secret, so it could hurt Lu Ming's feelings. Lu Ming's heart trembled, and his expression turned even uglier. If the elf emperor was dead, then what about Ling Yue? Lu Ming was still unwilling, and continued to ask. Then what about the elf princess Ling Yue? How is he? Elf princess Ling Yue? I don't know, I've never seen him before, but he's probably the same as his father, killed by my heavenly palace in the chaos. Ha ha ha, this is the fate of the elf clan who dares to offend my heavenly palace. Anyone who offends the heavenly palace will end up like this, and you are no exception. The heavenly human race divine general laughed. So much nonsense, Lu Ming said coldly. With a flick of his finger, a finger force shot out and killed the heavenly human race divine general. Then, he asked the other 2 heavenly human race divine generals and received similar answers. They only knew that the elf emperor had been killed, but they didn't know much about the elf princess Ling Yue. This gave birth to a glimmer of hope in Lu Ming's heart. As long as he didn't personally confirm that he had been killed, it meant that there was still hope for him to survive. After casually killing the 2 heavenly human race divine generals, he kept their storage rings into the Great Desolation Ring. Lu Ming naturally didn't care about the storage rings of these people, but he kept them. The resources inside were useful for people with low cultivation. He wanted to bring his family and friends into the Great Desolation Ring, so the more resources he had, the better. Someone's coming. Lu Ming's eyes moved, because there were a few powerful auras rushing over from afar. Divine Emperor Realm, the aura of the heavenly human race. Lu Ming whispered, his eyes cold. He didn't leave, but stood there quietly without moving. It was just the Divine Emperor Realm. Lu Ming didn't put them in his eyes. After a few breaths, a few figures appeared in the void. They were all from the heavenly human race. They had a head of golden hair and wore golden battle armor. They were majestic, like a few war gods. The moment they arrived, they saw the corpses of the heavenly soldiers and divine generals, as well as Lu Ming, who was standing in the middle of the field. Boom! A powerful aura erupted from their bodies. Are you the one who killed them? One of the heavenly human race pointed his battle spear at Lu Ming. That's right. Lu Ming nodded indifferently. You're courting death. The heavenly human race expert's eyes were extremely cold. You heavenly human race only know how to say that. Aren't you tired of saying that? Lu Ming said indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, his body flashed and he disappeared. The next moment, he appeared in front of the heavenly human race expert and grabbed him by the throat. The heavenly human race expert of the 7th layer of the great god realm was like a little chick struggling in Lu Ming's hand. He was helpless. His eyes were filled with fear. He finally realized that the person in front of him was actually a divine master. Divine master. The other heavenly human race experts were shocked and wanted to retreat. Did I say you could leave? Lu Ming said indifferently. The heavenly human race experts felt a chill run down their spines. Their bodies stiffened as if they were being grabbed by an invisible hand. They didn't dare to move at all. Senior, the heavenly palace has many experts on the elven mother planet. There is no lack of divine master experts. Please think twice before you act and consider the consequences. A heavenly human race expert said. His words were polite, but the meaning behind them was clearly a threat. What he meant was that there were many experts from the heavenly palace on the elven mother planet. You'd better let us go. Otherwise, when the divine master experts arrived, you would end up in a miserable state. Lu Ming sneered and said, "Let me ask you a few questions. Answer me honestly." Then, Lu Ming repeated the questions that he had asked previously. These questions were not secrets that could be hidden. The heavenly human race experts answered honestly. It was almost the same answer as the one Lu Ming had received before. The elf emperor was killed. As for the elf princess Ling Yue, they didn't know about her. Puff, puff. Lu Ming flicked his finger and killed all the heavenly human race experts. Then he left the place. Chapter 4506. Next, Lu Ming investigated the elf race's mother planet. On the elf race's mother planet, there were indeed many experts from the heavenly palace who stayed here. They searched for the remnants of the elf race and their treasures. Among them, there was no lack of divine lord realm existences. As long as Lu Ming sensed the existence of a divine lord realm existence, he would immediately avoid them. As for those below the divine lord realm, he would directly kill them. In less than half a day, he had killed hundreds of heavenly palace experts. There were heavenly human race experts and other races among them. This naturally could not be hidden. It alarmed the heavenly palace experts on the elf race's mother planet. Someone has sneaked in. It's a divine lord realm existence. Surround this person with all your might. Kill him without mercy. On the elf race's mother planet, there was a lord of heaven overseeing it. At this moment, this lord of heaven gave an order. Immediately, the experts on the elf race's mother planet were mobilized to surround and capture Lu Ming with all their might. Suddenly, Lu Ming saw a group of heavenly palace experts flying toward a vast ocean. On the elf race's mother planet, there were naturally continents and oceans. These people from the heavenly palace are hurriedly flying toward the depths of the ocean. Could it be that they have discovered something? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and his eyes revealed a look of hope. The people from the heavenly palace were still investigating the elf race's mother planet. This meant that there were still survivors of the elf race on the elf race's mother planet. The heavenly palace was trying their best to hunt them down to prevent future troubles. Then, could Ling Yue still be alive and hiding somewhere on the elf race's mother planet? There was a high possibility of that happening. Follow them. Lu Ming activated the great concealment technique and hid on the ground, following the people from the heavenly palace from afar. After entering the ocean, Lu Ming entered the ocean and activated the great imitation technique, turning himself into a fish and following closely behind the people from the heavenly palace. More than an hour later, an island appeared in front of them. The island was enveloped by layers of formations. From the outside, it was impossible to see the existence of the island, only the air. But it couldn't stop Lu Ming's eyes. Lu Ming saw through it at a glance. Those masters from the heavenly palace were obviously here for this island. They stopped outside the island with sneers on their faces. It's just an illusory formation. Do you think you can hide from our eyes? What a joke. Break the formation. Let the elves despair. Let everyone in the universe know that this is the consequence of offending the heavenly palace. Some people from the heavenly palace sneered. Make your move. The leader of this group of people was not from the heavenly human tribe. Instead, it was an elder from the angel tribe. The reason for that was because the old man from the angel clan was a divine master. The angel elder gave the order, and a group of people immediately attacked. Dazzling rays of light slashed forward. Rumble! The sky shook violently as runes spread out, blocking the attacks. However, in doing so, the island would also be revealed. On the island, there was a group of elves. At that moment, their faces changed drastically. They looked desperate. They found us. The people from the heavenly palace are here. We won't be able to escape. The elves are doomed. Many people shouted in despair, anger, and grief. Rumble! The formations around the island were torn apart, and the island was completely exposed. Some of the heavenly human tribe members stood in the sky and looked at the elves on the island with mocking expressions. The more desperate the elves were, the more excited they were. "Dang!" shouted a heavenly human tribe member. He took the lead and charged towards the island. That person had the cultivation of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. Whoosh! On the island, an arrow flew towards the heavenly human cultivator of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. The heavenly human tribe member was surprised. He slashed with his sword and hit the arrow. With a clang, the heavenly human tribe member's body shook violently and he couldn't help but retreat. A divine weapon. The heavenly human tribe member of the 9th Great Supreme God layer whispered. His eyes were cold. Down below, an old elf was holding a handful of emerald green arrows. That old elf also had the cultivation of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. He had just used a divine weapon to shoot the heavenly human tribe member of the 9th Great Supreme God layer back. "Let's attack together and kill him. The divine weapon is ours," shouted another heavenly human tribe member. "All right, let's attack together." There were a few heavenly human tribe members on the scene. They were all cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. Their silhouettes flickered and they charged towards the island. "Come and help me." On the island, the elder of the elf clan roared. Another dozen or so elf tribe elites gathered behind the old man. Behind them, large trees appeared, and boundless energy surged into the old man's body. Shouted the old elf. Then he drew his bow again. "Bzzz. Bzzz. Bzzz." This time, he drew his bow 3 times in a row. 3 arrows streaked across the sky and shot towards the 3 strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe. The arrows whistled through the air, their might extremely astonishing. Even though the 3 celestial race experts tried their best to block them, they still couldn't block them. Their bodies flew backwards, and one of the divine emperors was almost penetrated. He was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. The weaker ones didn't dare to attack. They were afraid that they would be shot to death. "Back off. I'll do it," said the old elf of the heavenly human tribe at that moment. He had been watching coldly and hadn't done anything before. After all, he was a divine master. If the others could handle it, he wouldn't have done anything. However, the others had been stopped by the arrows, so he had no choice but to do something. "Thank you, Master Eugene," said a heavenly human tribe member politely. Whoosh! The old elf of the heavenly human tribe, Eugene, took a step forward. Holy light filled the air. 10 angelic wings spread out from his back and a vast amount of energy pressed down on the island. On the island, the expressions of all the elves changed drastically, revealing deep despair. "Divine Master!" The elder from the elf clan cried out in despair. A divine master was here. Even if they had a master divine weapon, it was useless. "Elves, I'll give you a chance. Kill yourselves." Eugene put his hands behind his back and said arrogantly. However, before he could finish his sentence, his expression changed drastically. He jumped up as if his butt was on fire. A spear light suddenly shot out from the sea below him. It was aimed at him. He jumped up quickly, but the spear light was even faster. Poof! Eugene was pierced. His eyes were wide open. They were filled with resentment and fear. Then with a bang, his body exploded. He was destroyed in both body and soul. Everyone else was stunned. Eugene was a divine master. Although he was only a first-level divine master, he was still a divine master. He was unexpectedly killed by a spear light in the sea. "Oh no, run!" After a few breaths, the remaining people of the heavenly palace came to their senses. They shouted in horror and tried to escape. A divine master was killed instantly. Wouldn't they be courting death if they stayed? However, it was too late. Swoosh, swoosh, Swoosh! Under the surface of the sea, numerous spear lights flew out. Top point. Chapter 45:07. At the bottom of the sea, the spear radiance shot out and pierced through the remaining experts of the heavenly palace, killing them all. On the island, the elves were a little stunned. Why was there a spear radiance at the bottom of the sea? It was so powerful that even the divine master of the angel race was killed by it. Such power was absolutely shocking. Could there be a divine master of the elf race alive at the bottom of the sea? Splash! At this moment, the sea churned and a figure rushed out. This figure was naturally Lu Ming. However, he didn't transform into his original appearance. He still looked like a middle-aged man. It's not the elf race. When the elves on the island saw Lu Ming, they showed a hint of disappointment. At first, they were hoping that it would be a divine master of the elf race who survived, but they didn't expect it to be a human. However, they quickly suppressed the strange feeling in their hearts and flew toward Lu Ming, led by the elder from the elf race. They bowed respectfully and said, "Hua Yong of the elf race, thank you for your help, senior." "You're welcome. I'm friends with your elf king. When I heard that the heavenly palace was going to deal with the elf race, I immediately rushed over. I didn't expect that I would still be a step too late," Lu Ming said. After that, he sighed deeply. Hua Yong and the others were very touched. It was rare to have such a friend. Even if the enemy was the heavenly palace, he was still fearless and rushed over to help. He even killed many experts of the heavenly palace on the spot. If it were others, they would have fled after hearing that the enemy was the heavenly palace. How could they save them? They were too loyal. Hua Yong was a little choked up. He continued to clasp his fists and said, "This junior thanks senior on behalf of His Majesty." Unfortunately. At this point, Hua Yang's face was pale and he couldn't continue. "By the way, how is brother Hua Shua now?" Lu Ming asked deliberately. "His Majesty. His Majesty has been killed by the heavenly human race," Hua Yong said with grief and indignation. "Damn it, I'm still too late. By the way, where's niece Yue now?" Lu Ming asked. This was his goal, to find out the whereabouts of Ling Yue. The princess should be in the elven ancestral land now. I don't know if she has been found by the heavenly palace. I hope nothing bad happens to the princess. Hua Yong sighed. The elven ancestral land. Yue is indeed fine. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He secretly scolded himself for being stupid. The ancestral land of the elves was indeed a very good place to hide. Back then, when he and Ling Yue had participated in the Holy Seed examination, they had entered the ancestral land of the elves. Inside, Lu Ming had obtained 2 holy tree seeds, one of which he had given to the elves, and the other was still lying in his storage ring. The ancestral land of the elf clan was heavily guarded by the ancestors of the elf clan. Only the younger generation could enter. The older ones could not enter. Furthermore, once they entered the elf clan's ancestral land, they would be heavily suppressed. Their cultivation would drop, and they would not even be able to use their divine weapons. Ling Yue hiding in the ancestral land of the elves was indeed a very good idea. However, once she was discovered by the experts of the heavenly palace and blocked outside, it would also be very dangerous. Moreover, the heavenly palace might have a way to break through the restrictions of the elf clan's ancestral land. Thinking of this, Lu Ming became somewhat anxious. Right now, the elven mother planet is filled with people from the heavenly palace. You have nowhere to hide. Why don't you come with me? I'll take you away. Lu Ming said. Senior, if you take us away, the target will be too big. I'm afraid it will easily attract the attention of the heavenly palace. You should go and save the princess. She is the hope of the elves. As long as she is still alive, the elves will have hope of rising again. Hua Yong said. Don't worry, I have a treasure. You can enter my treasure and not be discovered by the people of the heavenly palace. Lu Ming said, planning to put the elves into the great desolate ring. With a thought, a huge whirlpool immediately appeared in the air. This was opened by Lu Ming, leading to the great desolate ring. Hua Yong and the others hesitated for a moment, then flew toward the gate. With Lu Ming's cultivation, if he wanted to harm them, he would not have to go through so much trouble. He could easily kill them. Moreover, Lu Ming was definitely not from the heavenly palace. If he was from the heavenly palace, why would he kill the masters of the heavenly palace? Moreover, They were masters of the Divine Lord realm. Was he trying to win their trust? They were far from qualified. In a short while, all the elves on the island had entered the great desolate ring. Lu Ming burned the bodies of the masters of the heavenly palace with fire. Then, his figure flashed and he left. During the flight, Lu Ming's appearance changed again. In the end, he turned into the appearance of Eugene, the first-layer Divine Lord Realm Elder of the Angel Clan. Even the aura was exactly the same. This was to make it easier for him to move around. Sure enough, after he turned into Eugene, his movements were unimpeded. Even if he met the people of the Heavenly Palace, nothing happened. The other party even bowed to him obediently. At the same time, Lu Ming learned of a big matter from the people of the Heavenly Palace. The Heavenly Palace had already discovered the elves' ancestral land. They also knew that the elven princess Ling Yue was hiding in the elves' ancestral land with a group of young elves. The Heavenly Palace had already mobilized a large number of masters to surround the entrance of the elves' ancestral land. Not good. Lu Ming's face was a bit ugly. The Heavenly Palace had already discovered it. It would be difficult to save Ling Yue. Lu Ming immediately rushed toward the elves' ancestral land. As he hurried, he thought of a countermeasure. After passing through the wormhole, Lu Ming soon arrived near the planet where the entrance to the elves' ancestral land was. After arriving here, Lu Ming's appearance began to change again. In the end, he turned into a young angel. After all, Eugene was an existence of the Divine Master Realm. His presence was too strong. If he met an acquaintance of Eugene, Lu Ming was afraid of revealing a flaw. If he turned into an ordinary angel youth, his presence would be greatly reduced. As long as he didn't meet an existence of the Origin Realm, he shouldn't be exposed. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the planet where the entrance to the elves' ancestral land was. On the planet there was a hall. In the hall was the entrance to the elves' ancestral land. At this moment, the hall was surrounded. They were all experts and heavenly soldiers and divine generals of the Heavenly Palace. So powerful. There's an existence on the level of the Lord of Heaven. Lu Ming sensed an extremely terrifying aura in the sky. He secretly took a look and discovered that a heavenly human powerhouse was sitting cross-legged there. The terrifying aura was exuding from this person. Lu Ming had come into contact with people on the level of the Lord of Heaven more than once. This person's aura wasn't weaker than those of the Lord of Heaven. In addition, there were many Divine Master Realm experts scattered around. This area had been surrounded so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Above, the existence on the level of the Lord of Heaven noticed Lu Ming approaching and coldly glanced at him. As if he didn't find anything, he looked away. Lu Ming secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that the other party hadn't seen through him. Peaked, you're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.